The Internet of Things is changing the world. New technologies will be invented. New platforms will be transformed. New solutions will be integrated. And new industry sectors will be formed. We will have smarter solutions in Industry 4.0, intelligent retail and logistics, transportation infrastructure, energy and environment, intelligent healthcare systems, and smart cities. Our imagination is the only limit to the Internet of Things. The world will be smarter and better. There are unprecedented challenges ahead of us. Challenge of connectivity, information processing, technology standardization, and the complexity across different industry sectors. The challenge of the inevitable fragmentation is holding back the evolution of the Internet of Things. At Advantech, we see the fragmentation as an opportunity. To accelerate the fulfillment of industrial IoT applications, Advantech promotes the vision of a co-creation ecosystem. In the past, our focus was on providing embedded hardware platforms. Now, in collaboration with our global partners, we utilize the concept of decoupling and refactoring to develop the WISE Marketplace. WISE Marketplace is a domain-focused industrial app platform where you can use industrial app building blocks to develop your own IoT applications and unleash endless possibilities of industrial IoT solutions. Your contribution and our co-creation will overcome the challenge of the fragmentation and build a new blueprint for the Internet of Things. No one can do IoT alone. The ecosystem needs both contributors and enablers. Advantech endeavors to support our partners and become the enabler for the intelligent planet by sharing our resources and collaborating with market specialists. Working together to change the way we think, invent, and innovate. Our future is measured by our partners' ability to dream. Advantech Co-Creation Business Model, enabling our partners to build and create the impossible. Advantech, co-creating the future of the IoT world.
It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to Advantech's first Industrial IoT Virtual Summit. I'm Jess Bansidar, the leader of the Industrial IoT group of Advantech in Europe, and I will be hosting you today during this live stream. The overall theme for this summit is connecting industrial IoT innovation. When we started to plan this event, we were expecting to host this in Amsterdam in the Netherlands. At that time, we never imagined that we would be connecting virtually instead. However, we are thrilled at the opportunity to bring Advantech Industrial IoT Summit to you via live stream. It has opened up the possibility for all of us to connect with more people in every region of the world and explore how artificial intelligence and industrial IoT are shaping the global economy, yet be mindful of the current pandemic globally. The Advantech Industrial IoT Summit will be live streamed over the next 4 days and will feature talks, presentations, over 80 industry experts. We will discuss innovations in smart manufacturing, AI, and smart city infrastructure. The summit will be broken up into 8 separate tracks, allowing you to join sessions focused on specific topics of interest of you. Tomorrow, September the 23rd, we will be live streaming the iFactory, the industrial equipment manufacturing, the industrial I/O, and smart automation tracks. On September the 24th, the live stream will feature the energy and environment sector, transportation, and logistics tracks. Finally, on September the 25th, we will facilitate virtual meetings so you can engage with thought leaders in one-to-one meetings, effectively connect with our eco partners, or join a group discussion with Advantech executives. We invite you to join us for the full 4 days virtual summit experience, so you have the best environment for networking, engagement, and exploring opportunities that accelerate your business relationships and outcomes. But now, I would like to turn the focus to today's grand keynotes. During our live stream, you will be hearing from a number of Advantech executives, including Linda Tsai, Casey Liu, Allan Young, Jerry O'Gorman, Vincent Chang, and Elon Sheng. Their talks will showcase Advantech's industrial IoT strategies and innovations, including co-creation, industrial APPs and edge solutions, edge-to-cloud technology updates, and more. In addition, industry visionaries from Bosch Rexroth, IoT ONE, Intel, Ericsson, inductive automation, Passengera, and NDC networks will share how building stronger relationships and forging new partnerships can help us to thrive through this new IoT world. If you have any questions during today's live stream, please enter them in the chat box, and we will do our best to answer everyone's question during the track. It's my honor to introduce our first guest of today, Linda Tsai. Linda has been in Advantech for almost 11 years, and she is currently the president of the Industrial-IoT group. During her time with the company, she has been the head of several departments, including the intelligent system groups and the product management team for the embedded board groups, which includes the company's industrial motherboards and single board computers. Let's welcome Linda Tsai.
Welcome everyone to Advantech Industrial IoT Virtual Partner Summit. According to CEO survey from Gartner, growth still remains CEO first priority. 63% of CEOs said that they are likely to change their business model in the coming 3 years. Rather than adopting digital solutions for optimization, CEOs are now thinking how digital transformation can fundamentally change their business. And AI and 5G are the most important transformative technology to accelerate the industrial IoT application. Connecting data from billions of devices and providing business intelligence to improve operation efficiency and safety. According to IDC report, the connected IoT devices will be 40.1 billion in 2025. Sensor continues to become cheaper, more advanced, and more widely available. Sensor will be embedded in most of the IoT devices. In return, the availability and cost effectiveness will make the new sensor application possible, including large-scale device monitoring, remote management, business intelligence with analytic information for predicted maintenance. IoT devices will spread out everywhere. We will see thousands of data centers, millions of private node clouds, and connected devices with billions of them. How to manage a large scale of IoT device across different platforms? Advantech Device on BI is the answer to this question. Advantech is launching WISE-Device on BI. It integrates the data from each IoT device and transforms into useful information for smart manageability. It is a business integration service that's run on both cloud and on-premise platforms. It allows system integrators to apply their domain-focused knowledge to optimize operation and maintenance service. WISE-Device on BI is a device cloud that provides 3 levels of services. The first level is device management. It's including data security, device governance, configuration, and remote management. Data security is the key element that's concerned the most. How do we increase the security level in WISE-Device on BI? We protect the data with different levels of authentication, where the information is isolated by different groups in each organization. The second level is business integration. Twin object centralized O&M, patrol inspection, and analytic and report. Take example, how to create a pump object. We use parameters such as power, status, and flow. Patrol inspection and services not only have the routine tasks, but also create assignments automatically based on alarm event triggered simultaneously. The third level is AI-driven service. AI service is driven by the need of each vertical application. With hand-in-hand cooperation and domain-focused system integrator and the specialist, we work together to provide business intelligence, including demand forecast, predictive maintenance, and advanced process control. In addition to WISE device on BI, Advantech provides different software solutions from device layer, edge computer, and the cloud. In device layer, WISE Edge Link is a lightweight, cross-platform middleware to allow data to integrate and transmit to multiple cloud platforms. In edge computer layer, Web Access SCADA support multiple protocols and drivers, monitor and manage projects via web browser. Also, in edge computer layer, XNavy is an integrated software development kit for HMI, vision, motion, and visualization. In cloud layer, we also have an industrial app that allows domain-focused system integrator to easily access the software modules and reduce development cycle. On the cloud, Advantech on-premise cloud solution, WISE-Stack. WISE-Stack is designed for AIoT application with high availability, flexible expansion, and high data throughput. All the software are supported by Advantech comprehensive product portfolio, I/O modules, I/O gateway, edge computer, and industrial server. WISE Edge Link supports downstream more than 200 protocols, upstream more than 20. What are the compelling features of WISE Edge Link? First, equipment model builder. It collects different data sets, pre-process, and integrate into equipment model builder to facilitate equipment monitoring and management. Second, support multiple cloud services. And the third, if the network is down, Edge Link support communication, breakpoint, store and forward once the connection is resumed. Last but not the least, Edge Link provides security encryption such as AES 256 and MD5 to secure remote data update. In summary, WISE Edge Link software allowed customers to quickly implement IoT application with plug-and-play, no programming coding, and shorten project development cycle. XNavy is Advantech integrated software development suite for vision inspection, motion control, machine condition monitoring, and AI and visualization at the edge. It supports all of the Advantech edge computers, from automation controllers, industrial PC, edge AI system, Ethercat IO system, and domain-focused platform. With the integration of XNavy software development suite and Advantech edge computer, it brings great benefit to lower total cost of ownership. WISE-Stack is Advantech private cloud solution. The fully integrated solution offers the cloud capability and development toolset with assurance of security and privacy for data and AI models. WISE-Stack is an ideal solution to host your application with high availability with expansion and data throughput in your factory. Customers can initiate IoT projects by combining Advantech edge computers and devices with on-premise WISE-Stack cloud solution. All WISE-Stack services offer seamless integration with Advantech edge devices. Many of IoT innovation are driven by the latest technology, such as AI, 5G, low-power wind, and smart sensors. How should we use the combination of AI and IoT and take the industrial application to the next level? This is not just about the technology, but how we should minimize the business gap between technology and customer expectation. For industrial AI, building an AI ecosystem is crucial. It consists of hardware platform, AI technology, solution provider, and service provider. Advantech's role is to provide comprehensive AI hardware platform from edge sensing, edge AI node, edge inference server, and training server. Co-creating with AI accelerator leaders and IoT solution partner, we together successfully implement AI in smart manufacturing and smart city projects. The great integration of wireless sensing and communication device. Advantech released the new generation of IoT sensing device that support a variety of wireless technology. At the beginning of this year, we also launched Advantech first 5G-ready serial router. With the advanced wireless technology and industrial-grade proven quality, Advantech IoT Gateway is the foundation to build a reliable IoT network used in indoor and outdoor environment. Next generation Ethernet, time-sensitive networking, TSN. For many of industrial applications, guaranteed latency is extremely important. Advantech TSN Ethernet switch, AK8000 series, collaborating with Microchip, is making real-time communication possible. Lastly, I would like to summarize the key takeaway from this keynote. Advantech device on BI for an intelligent cloud. This is the cloud solution to provide 3 levels of device services for your business operation. To facilitate digitalization from device to cloud, Advantech provides different software packages in device layer, edge computer layer, and on-premise private cloud solution. Lastly, Advantech continue to invest in research and development resource by adopting latest technology and collaborating with domain-focused SI to co-create product solution for industrial IoT application. Let's co-create the future of IoT world. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. From your sharing, it's clear to see how industrial IoT innovation is accelerating the speed of digital transformation. Our next speaker is K.C. Liu. K.C. founded Advantech in 1983 and has been the chairman ever since. Soon after starting the company, K.C. vowed, "Though I cannot win a gold medal for my people in the Olympic Games, but I will strive instead to serve them by creating a world-class company." His passion and leadership has inspired the company to stay focused on its core competencies and ultimately achieve its status as a leader in the worldwide industrial computing arena. From 2013 until now, Advantech has been recognized as a top 10 Taiwan global brand by the prestigious brand consultancy firm Interbrand. Currently, we are number 5. Let's welcome our CEO, K.C. Liu.
Dear partners and colleagues, very nice to meet you online. Today, I would like to share with you Advantech's recent new progress and the future ideas on AIoT solution development. Our ultimate goal is to advance the IoT world so that enable digital transformation for targeted industrial domains. First, let's face reality. IoT didn't grow as fast as it was expected 10 years ago. The projection in year 2010 was that there will be 50 billion connected IoT devices in year 2020. It is 2020 now. The real result is only 20% of the 50 billion projection. Why did IoT not have good enough growth? Because the IoT ecosystems need to evolve step by step. It takes much longer than expected. In the fourth stage, 1.0, IoT PaaS, the foundation, need to be created. Advantech started its WISE-PaaS development in year 2015. In the second stage, stage 2.0, many industrial apps need to be created as building block in order to make the solution integration easier. Today, many IoT companies have created their own IoT platforms and have developed a lot of industrial apps. However, they are still individual silos which cannot be interconnected or cross-sold in the market. To solve this bottleneck, our next job is to open the interconnection. After that, the industry will evolve to stage 3.0, interconnection in platforms and apps. Then, the matured interconnection and the IApp exchange via cross-platform sharing will enable the IoT world to evolve to the ultimate 4.0 stage. In this 4.0 stage, innovative solutions will be developed much more quickly and efficiently. Then, domain SIs and the whole IoT world will enjoy explosive growth. Digital transformation of all domains will become a popular reality. Look at your mobile phone. This mobile industry has already reached the 4.0 stage today. But IoT is still at the halfway point. This transformation will require big efforts on software standards and APIs, plus breakthroughs in the ecosystem alliance. No doubt, AIoT will finally bring huge market to us over the next 10 years. This chart shows the value chain segmentation and the market size percentage for each segment. In Advantech, we call our traditional hardware devices business phase one. We call it phase one. Phase one includes edge computer, edge devices, plus industrial communication devices. It represents 25% plus 10% of the AIoT market. Then phase two. Phase two covers software PaaS, including IaaS and PaaS platforms, plus some common industrial apps. Phase two takes 10% of the market. The final big 55%, this portion belongs to phase three, including domain industrial apps, SaaS, software as a service, and solution integration services. For this phase three portion, Advantech strategy is to rely on third-party domain solution integrators. through our domain SI co-creation business model. This chart shows the ecosystem structure of an intelligent factory solution. This solution structure starts from the bottom layer, the edge intelligent layer, up to IoT PaaS layer, then industrial apps and the solution suite layer. Advantech WISE-PaaS IoT suite offers a complete and easy-to-use PaaS function based on a public cloud or private cloud infrastructure. Advantech's mission is to offer low-coding development services for SIs to easily build up their system. SI can simply stack up modular industrial apps to create a solution, or just making minor customization on our solution suite packages. At today's stage, the IoT solution ecosystem still has some gaps, so that the IoT business cannot grow up as fast as the market would expect. Advantech wants to build a bridge of success across the ecosystem gaps. Internally, we have set up individual solution business units to focus on key target domains. All solution BUs should develop and own their key industrial app products. On the market side, we have upgraded several key industrial apps to solution-ready label. This will allow solution integrators to easily build up their turnkey solution for their customers with very low coding effort. Our newly announced WISE Marketplace 2.0 will serve worldwide SIs as an industrial app online store for IoT. WISE Marketplace will offer Advantech self-developed apps, plus industrial apps developed by third-party partners. Ecosystem co-creation is the key to IoT success due to the complexity of value chain integration. To make the customer deal even easier, we will offer several solution suite packages for those small, medium-sized customers who have four-stage requirements of IoT digital transformation. Advantech will engage with local domain-focused SIs to empower them to fulfill local customization, provide on-site installation, and offer consulting services. The domain SI co-creation will require three major contribution parties, including the domain knowledge expertise, the core team, plus Advantech's platform empowerment. At the end of my presentation, I wish to emphasize again that the future of the IoT world is waiting for us to conquer. We believe that the only way to success is to pursue partner co-creation and the ecosystem collaboration. Let's work together to enable the future of the IoT world. Thank you very much, and goodbye.
Thanks, KC, for sharing your vision on the importance of co-creation for the future IoT world. There's no doubt that the growth of industrial IoT will bring about many new opportunities aligned with your vision. Thank you for that. Our next speaker is Dr. Philipp Guth. Philipp joined Bosch Rexroth as CTO in Germany in May 2019 with responsibility for R&D and manufacturing of the business unit automation and electrification. Since July 1st, Dr. Guth became Senior VP of this business unit. In his new position, he combines the responsibility of CTO and CEO. Today, he will share his vision about the new automation concept for intelligent factories. Let's welcome Philipp.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my talk about how IT and OT topologies are affected by the transformation to the factory of the future. My name is Philipp Guth and I am CEO of the business unit Automation and Electrification Solutions at Bosch Rexroth. Bosch Rexroth provides control systems for CNC, motion and PLC to a variety of industrial and other professional applications. Customers can also get the matching safety solutions from us. We maintain a large portfolio of servo drives and servo motors in different product families and a broad range of power sizes. Furthermore, we provide IPCs and panels to complete the customer's solution. Today's landscape in factory automation goes back to the 1970s. IT and OT began on individual paths and used the opportunities offered by the still young and rapidly innovating computer technology to develop additional customer benefits and increase performance in their respective domains. With the rise of the internet, the dominant requirement for the IT domain were data security, administrability, and scalability. The OT domain, however, was always interacting with the physical world. It therefore had to focus on ensuring machine and operator safety. Furthermore, determinism and real-time capabilities were increasingly important to obtain the targeted precision of the motion and the efficiency in the production. During the past 50 years, solution and system providers aligned their technologies and capabilities along the horizontal layers in the automation pyramid. This led to a high level of maturity in the respective domains. Today, we are at the point where further optimization in these layers only develops marginal utility. As a consequence, differentiation becomes much more difficult and commoditization takes place. This trend is evident in many horizontal layers, such as the prices for servo motors that have been falling for years. With the start of the technologies 50 years ago, the world was pretty stable and predictable. Product life cycles were long and their development was sequential. Trends developed steadily and customers' behavior was rational. The world of today, however, is increasingly volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. Products and processes are developed in parallel. Customers change their preferences on short notice and in an unpredictable manner. The most recent event is the COVID-19 pandemic that led to a very sudden decrease in the demand for cars and concerts, but a rising demand for toilet paper and breathing masks. Companies could only meet this change with considerable effort. So in today's VUCA world, flexibility, speed and transparency played a decisive role to remain competitive. This is the reason why the change itself needs to be automated. If adapting the system to changing boundary conditions was easy, customers could benefit from rescheduling their production according to fluctuating demand. Load could be balanced between production sites and production changes could be carried out efficiently. But adapting products and productions is always an end-to-end process and has to be conducted across departments in the company and also across domains in the automation pyramid. Unfortunately, today's automation pyramid is not really accessible to vertical integrated solutions. Typically, the OT is separated by a firewall from the IT. Proprietary ecosystems produce a lock-in for customers and a lock-out for connections to other parts of the system. Many solutions are being monolithic, thus inflexible and hard to customize. Last but not least, different layers base their solutions on their own languages and standards, like IEC 61131 for PLC or DIN 66025 for CNC, which offers benefits for the solution within one layer, but makes it inaccessible for programmers that use C++, Java, or other programming languages. These hurdles increase the effort or even prevent vertical integrated solutions across the layers of the automation pyramid. Improving or adapting the whole system remains slow and frustrating. Bosch Rexroth has set itself the goal of developing a unified architecture in order to overcome the just mentioned impediments without having to make compromises. The main requirements are connectivity in terms of different supported field bus protocols, cloud connectors, and open communication protocols like OPC UA. The architecture has to be secure by design and remotely administrable in order to fulfill the basic IT requirements while still having a hard deterministic timing behavior to enable OT applications. In order to allow cross-domain collaboration, the platform needs to be open and extendable by a broad variety of programming languages. Over the past 3 years, we have developed Control-X automation to meet these requirements and enable cross-domain collaboration in an unprecedented manner. It can easily be extended with functionality by programming or simply installing additional self-contained apps. In this regard, it works like a smartphone for professional automation. The system can be deployed to different targets. The hardware is abstracted by a real-time patched Linux operating system, the container host, and the Control-X data layer. Linux is the most mature operating system on the market and provides the needed stability and security. It is future-proof because it can be deployed to almost any target architecture. The container host provides a landing page that is used to access the device via web browser. Any app can manifest itself on the home screen to be accessible by the user. Furthermore, the container host ensures the data security by enforcing encrypted and authenticated communications and management of users and permissions. The Control-X data layer establishes the connection between the apps, the system itself, field devices, and other control peripherals with high throughput and low latency. It can be accessed cyclic in real time or asynchronous for non-time critical applications and devices. There is also a subscription mechanism established. This architecture ensures that the system behaves always the same, regardless if it is integrated into a field device running on an IPC or in the company. The unified architecture with the Control-X data layer enables cross-domain collaboration. The system can no longer be assigned to a specific layer in the automation pyramid. It can host and run different applications from different domains simultaneously. For example, you can use a drive-integrated control hardware and deploy a PLC, a motion control, and an IoT gateway on the device. The IoT gateway can access the data of the drive, the PLC, and the motion control through the data layer and transmit them to a cloud for advanced AI diagnostic, for example. The exact same configuration would also work if you deployed the system to an IPC and connect the devices via The exact same software configuration would also work if you deployed the system to an IPC and connect the drive via Fieldbus interface. No re-engineering is needed to perform this step. Another future example could be a complex path planning supported by artificial intelligence. When a lot of computing power is necessary, the corresponding app can also be deployed to a private or even a public cloud, because Control-X automation is already fully virtualizable. The path is then calculated and sent back to an embedded controller that takes care of the time-critical access interpolation along the path. We consider Control-X automation therefore as an enabler for software-defined automation and cloud deployment. At this point, I'd like to draw your attention to some other trends in the market. It is still true that computing power doubles every 18 months, which makes computing power even more cheap and enables new technologies like deep learning and artificial intelligence. In this regard, IoT and big data play an increasingly important role to collect data and detect patterns. Last but not least, the trend towards the use of mobile devices continues unabated, and the younger generation is increasingly expecting this. Especially in the field of communication, we see real-time capabilities entering the corporate network and even the internet. With the spreading of open standards like 5G and TSN, the barriers of proprietary ecosystems will more and more be overcome. With OPC-UA over TSN, there is even a chance that an open field-level communication will be available in the future. Taking these upcoming technologies into account, let's try to anticipate how this will affect the future topologies in factories. As mentioned earlier, in today's factories, there is a clear distinction between OT and IT. Dedicated hardware is fulfilling a dedicated job. The introduction of the unified architecture control X automation and the increasing real-time capabilities in company networks and the internet make standard IT hardware accessible to OT use cases. The boundary between OT and IT is being dissolved. With the possibility to use standard hardware to fulfill time-critical OT use cases, plant managers have an opportunity to profit from the benefits of standard IT equipment, such as redundancy, scalability, and high computing power at reasonable costs. In a first step, I believe that industrial on-premise clouds will be introduced to the shop floors. Typically, such a setup will save costs compared to decentralized control systems in every manufacturing cell. The administrability is comparable to IT equipment. By making use of redundancy, downtime of lines can be further reduced. Some automotive OEMs are already actively requesting these kind of solutions. We are currently evaluating these new topologies. If the concept can be proven, this will most certainly reduce the relevance of dedicated OT hardware in the factory of the future. The importance of IT equipment, on the opposite, will rise. If we will see another shift toward the cloud on the long run is questionable. It will strongly depend on the data security that can be achieved, as well as on the availability and latency of the connection. Without any doubt, the automation pyramid, as we've known it for decades, is about to disintegrate. With new enabling technologies that actually exist, the trend towards a true industrial Internet of Things is not longer a vision, but becoming reality soon. For further information about Control-X automation, please visit our microsite. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Philipp. I know that Bosch was among the first leaders who recognized the huge potential of Industry 4.0, and it's great to hear how your new digital and connected solutions are making factories more efficient, more flexible, more secured, and more productive. It's now my pleasure to welcome our next speaker, Dr. Allan Young. Allan joined Advantech in early 2014 and is currently our CTO. One of his main responsibilities is to oversee the design, development and commercialization of WISE-PaaS. WISE-PaaS is Advantech's Industrial-IoT cloud data platform. It aims to extend our company's leading worldwide position in industrial computing platforms and embedded systems. Let's welcome Allan Young.
Hello everyone, I'm Allan, CTO of Advantech. It's my great pleasure to share with you about our thoughts and the way that we would accomplish digital transformation with AIoT, WISE-PaaS, and WISE Marketplace. We all know that the digital technology has brought forward great productivity gain. In the past 30 years, the IT system with dedicated functionalities have greatly improved the productivity and efficiency of many enterprises. Now, with the new emerging technology based on IoT and AI, we have another great opportunity to bring forward digital transformation 2.0 by leveraging data-driven technology. The new digital transformation will be mostly based on cloud architecture in a way that can deploy the solution with diminishing incremental cost to greatly cover a vast amount of customers in great territorial geographical regions. So the first important idea to take home from this summit is we will need to transition from internal process-driven IT and automation silos into cloud-based and data-driven, cloud-native AIoT solution architecture. The ecosystem of this new digital transformation has been widely agreed upon that 30% would be based on the edge hardware for data acquisition and edge computing, 20% about the software at the edge for doing the edge processing and data connectivity. About another part of the value in between the software of data acquisition is actually the data platform, which is WISE-PaaS is positioned at. So aggregating the software layer at the edge and at the platform layer is about 20%. The biggest part is the solution value by domain system integrators into different various vertical domains, be it in intelligent manufacturing or smart city solutions or intelligent hospitals, intelligent retail or logistics or environment and energy. There are great amount of opportunities in all sorts of industrial verticals that can leverage this IoT and AI technology to bring about new way of servicing our targeted customers. So again, the most important message that we would like to deliver to you is the bulk of the value of this digital transformation is at the domain solution and will be jointly developed with our system integrator partners. It has been 30 to 40 years that the information technology system, as well as the automation, the equipment that we use at the site of the productivities or our business activities, we have two prongs of productivity gain, one along the side of information system. Another direction is through the evolution of automated machineries. So many of the existing brownfields, we will see the existing collection of assets, of equipment, and another set of assets actually lies in the information system that we have built in the past 30 to 40 years. In order to bridge between the equipments and IT systems, we have many of our experts and many of our technical staffs, many of our domain experts. They are working in between these IT systems and the automated equipments. They are exercising their professional judgment every day by bridging, blending the information and the equipment's data and statuses to deliver the required management, the required professional judgment in order to sustain the business going forward smoothly. But then with the new availability of the IoT, we can add additional edge solutions of additional data acquisition hardware as well as the edge computing platforms to add additional coverage of automation in between the gap. So from the edge data acquisition and by pulling all the data acquired at the edge IoT gateways as well as the sensors, we collect them into the middle tier of a data lake. This data lake is actually performing the fusion of multiple systems, fusion of multiple dimensions. It actually, in a way that is simulating all the required basic information of our professional staff that is laboring, working really hard in between the IT system and the machineries. So the data platform basically divided into the southbound layer that is managing the compute resources, the storage, the networking, and all the role-based authority management. The southbound layer basically is formed by Kubernetes and then all type of IoT hub, as well as database and storage services. We're kind of at the middle of this graph. And then the northbound supporting layer is actually for facilitating a much faster AIoT solution development. It consists of the visualization services, offering in the form of WISE-PaaS dashboard and WISE-PaaS SaaS composers. It actually provides fairly professional-looking 2D and 3D rendering of the data from the edge. And at the middle area is the asset performance management. We call it Inside APM. Inside APM actually structure all the edge asset merits of additional data collection and management. It offers a way of structuring how we would like to model the edge asset. All right, so it basically gives you a notion and a vehicle to build digital twins for all the physical asset on the site. And then at the right side of this service framework is AI framework services. We call it AIFS. And AI framework services, it basically give you a way of using machine learning or deep learning to provide more advanced technology and tools so that we can more effectively extract the value out of the data that we collect. The end goal is actually to develop additional solutions that will provide us additional productivity gain by building up from the edge data acquisition, our edge solutions into these data platforms and solving additional problems that usually require individual and human intervention before. And the last but not the least objective is actually to bring in AI. Artificial intelligence has great breakthrough in the last 5 years and actually has been on really fast progression. Every day we see new AI deep neural net published in the academic and conference journal papers. Through that, we can actually bring in a lot of very effective AI solutions, be it in computer vision or in the machine predictive maintenance. We have found very useful ways of leveraging artificial intelligence that we will explain later on. So in more depth, this data platform that we call WISE-PaaS, it had brought in the microservice framework that would afford us to quickly bridge in additional asset, horizontally scaling smoothly. When we feel that the solution works well, that we would like to tap in additional equipment with a broader coverage. All right, so allow us to delve a little bit into this application framework services. This is a low-coding AIoT solution development. A lot of the traditional vertical domains, they have difficult time in recruiting enough cloud technology talents or AI expertise talents. They need a way to express their domain expertise without writing programs, without hiring really expensive IT experts. So we provide this application framework service. Again, it's visualization, pairing up with the Inside APM that structure the edge asset to form digital twins, and then the AI framework service we call AIFS. Inside APM, it's a way of modeling the physical world, anything that is worthy of management, worthy of data acquisition. We provided a device profile. It could be a fixed asset or mobile asset, and then the assets are deployed, positioned within an infrastructure. It could be a hospital, it could be a factory, it could be a big retail shopping mall. It's an area, it's a situation, it's a big site where all the assets are positioned. And then the staff in between, the people that are responsible for managing the asset, for sustaining the productivity, the well performance of all the equipments. These are all connected together through device profile configuration, the topology expressions, the authority and responsibility of the people all involved. So this is the inside APM. That is the core of the AIoT systems. Then again, we would like to leverage the technology of AI. So on the side, we would like to improve the productivity, that we would like to bring in AI. We have to have enough data. It's actually based on the power of this data that we can build industrial AI. So WISE-PaaS AIFS, it would facilitate the industrial enterprises in tapping into the power of AI by 3 layers. One is from 0 to 1, stemming from a collection of data to training up the first usable AI model. Then 1 to N is from the first AI model, you replicating it to similar scenarios, and then N cross M. So there are many similar opportunities for us to bring in the AI. So the whole site may have tens or hundreds of AI models. And then AIFS will pull the GPU required to train up the model, to retrain the model. It will pull up the data to do multi-dimensional hybrid data fusion and analysis. And then we'll provide multiple AI algorithms. And then once we have useful AI data, we will do mass deployment at the edge. And once it deployed in the edge, we need to evolve the AI model whenever that is useful. So lifecycle management is also needed. So this is AIFS, to bring in the AI power to leverage the industrial data that we collected through the WISE-PaaS data platform. WISE-PaaS IoT Suite is a recent aggregation of the essential services we have developed on the WISE-PaaS. By aggregating all these essential services, that we pull them together and call it IoT Suite, we offer all partners a very solid foundation to quickly develop your own AIoT solutions. We strongly recommend all our partners to look into what IoT Suite offers to you. It packages together the compute resource management, the authentication services, the data services, and then the visualization service. It's enough, and it's a very good foundation to start developing IoT solution. The next generation 3D AIoT digital twin command centers. We have evolved from the 2D BI type of dashboarding into 3D highly realistic, highly intuitive interface that we would correlate all the IoT data points with the geometry, with the spatial location that it positioned on the site. So on this example is Advantech Linko campus that we have within 3.5 months, we have connected about 18,000 tags of managing this Linko campus. The equipment lifecycle management, the energy consumption, all the activities that we feel worthy of management, we can aggregate them and present them in an intuitive next generation 3D digital twin modeling the whole site. Inside APM/M2I is built on top of Inside APM that provide templates of pre-selected equipments by device connection, by asset profile configuration, and adding rule and models to manage the asset, to making sure that they are operating normally. And if they are trending toward the anomaly area, it would issue the alert, trigger alarm, push out the notice to the required staff. And then we can then M2I machine to intelligence solution very quickly. Some landing working solution as example that we tie together all these solutions. Inside PM with AIF and dashboards, we actually have landed at several sites, one of them being the biggest steel factory in the southern part of Taiwan. And we are managing more than 200 mission-critical equipments. Each equipment is managed by AI. And then the AI model are evolved and dispatched with new version of the model whenever that is useful. When you have opportunity, we strongly recommend you to come to the INCO campus and have a tour where we have leveraged the computer vision based AI-based AOI, automatic optical inspection based on computer vision, trained up with deep learning neural net. It has actually greatly saved our operators' labor costs and improved the production quality consistency greatly. Private cloud. This cloud architecture can run on public cloud. And if the data is very sensitive and needs to be kept on site to maintain its confidentiality, we recommend you consider WISE-Stack. WISE-Stack is pairing up Advantech's own server as well as the WISE-PaaS software stack to offer you quick AIoT solution landing on site. And pairing up with 5G. 5G is going to be a huge deal. And then with the huge data volume coming in, the data needs to be processed right on site. So pairing up 5G with edge cloud based on WISE-Stack would be a very good match. Cloud edge collaboration. We know that some of our partners, they would like to start from small. All right, prove it works, then leverage and scale. So we start from connecting equipment that worthy of management with device edge, and then you can deploy solutions running on infrastructure edge. They're still based on WISE-PaaS, but on a lighter version. And once it's proven working well enough that you would like to scale to multiple lines, to multiple sites, then we would recommend you consider expanding it with the WISE-Stack. WISE Marketplace. Once you get an AIoT solution working really well and is really generating good productivity gain, it would be very interesting if you consider to offer that solution to similar situation, to similar scenario, to your partners. And we recommend you consider listing your solution onto WISE Marketplace. And Marketplace will face the subscriber, the solution partner, as well as channel reseller. So WISE Marketplace will be the way and the place for you to build your AIoT solution business. For DFSI partners, that if you do not develop your own solution, you can leverage the solution developed by others. And yet you can start this solution and find your own customer in your region. WISE-PaaS provide a way for DFSI to license the cloud solution and yet offer multiple tenant cloud services on your own. WISE-PaaS would take care of the billing and the financial payments issues. So it would pair up this solution with the business aspect of running these cloud services, and then DFSI can add your value in between. Co-creation. Advantech has Advantech Corporate Investment Department that we actually would go out and find DFSI partner as well as solution partners. And we would either go with joint venture by adding equity investments, or we would invite you to list on our marketplace and help with our industrial sales channels. So co-creation is the way to go because AIoT solution needs multiple partners to be successful. Knowledge sharing is the foundation to be successful. You need to have the required technical knowledge. Advantech WISE-PaaS offer full set of technical document, collection of well-calibrated certification process. So be it you are a solution partner or DFSI, we strongly recommend you to go on to these two sites, check them out, and pick up the required knowledge. they are really helpful. We also go deeper by engaging universities. We have structured, well-planned courses, and we will engage with 50 universities globally to spread out the technical knowledge of WISE-PaaS. And we also offer AIoT Developer InnoWorks by leveraging and collaborating with universities, graduate students mostly, to go deep and try out solving deeper problems with WISE-PaaS. Finally, partners and partnership is the key for success for industrial AIoT. It takes a lot of cross-discipline collaboration to be successful. No one can do it alone, not even the biggest company in the world. So with Advantech, with WISE-PaaS, with Industrial IoT, we offer from edge data acquisition to the edge solution to cloud platform to the WISE-PaaS application framework services. And with solution partner and DFSIs, we are able to capture this great opportunity in once in the 50 years great opportunities of AIoT digital transformation. Thank you for your time in listening.
Thank you, Allan, for sharing your vision regarding how WISE-PaaS innovation will help unlock digital transformation in industrial IoT. Our next speaker is Erik Walenza. Erik is CEO of IoT ONE. He's co-chair of the American Chamber of Commerce Technology and Innovation Committee and Shanghai Director of Startup Grind. He has worked in China for 9 years, where he is an active member of China's innovation ecosystem. As CEO of IoT ONE, Erik researches the impact of industrial digitalization on his clients' businesses. As co-chair of the Technology and Innovation Committee, he facilitates the exchange of best practices of innovation strategy. Through the Startup Grind, he supports local entrepreneurs in China. It's my honor to welcome Erik.
Hello, my name is Erik Walenza, CEO of IoT ONE, and today I'll be speaking to you about the topic of trends in industrial edge computing. And we'll be discussing the topic both from a global perspective, but also from the Chinese market perspective. IoT ONE is a research consultancy focused on the industrial IoT space, and we look at the market from 5 perspectives. First, from the use case perspective, how is value being created? Second, to the technology stack that underlines these use cases. Third, to the business models, or how are we monetizing solutions. Fourth, from the company ecosystem perspective. And finally, from the perspective of the macro environment, or the regulatory frameworks and the demographics that define the market. We view edge computing as the next computing cycle evolution. So we moved from the mainframe computer to the client PC to the smartphone that relies primarily on cloud computing, and now to edge computing. Of course, we still use mainframes to some extent. We still use PCs and smartphones very heavily, and will continue to. But now we see edge computing as a very important addition to the computing landscape. But what is edge computing? So I view edge computing as the collection of hardware and software technologies that enable storage, computing, processing, and networking close to the device that generates or consumes data, or close to the end user. Now, close here is the critical term. And what does close mean? So certainly close means closer than the cloud, right? The cloud can be virtually anywhere, even if it's strategically located in some region. It's certainly not close to the end device or the end user. But it doesn't necessarily mean on device. Close can mean on servers that are co-located with cell towers. It can be on-premise servers, on a factory, or in a hospital. On gateways that serve a room or a collection of devices in a close environment, or it can mean directly on the operational device. So here we're looking at the computing, or the edge computing landscape. So where can edge computing happen, again, on the device, on the gateway, on local edge nodes or cell tower nodes, or on the edge computing data center. Now let's next look at 3 markets where edge computing is already providing real value today. The first of those markets is advanced mobility. Now vehicles already are quite sophisticated computers today, so it's very natural that the mobility market would be an early adopter of edge computing solutions. We can look at this from 2 perspectives. The first perspective is situational awareness that is built directly into the vehicle via sensors. For example, a vehicle can identify hazards ahead, be it objects, people, other vehicles. This is already in use today as a safety feature, but it will become increasingly important as autonomous vehicles begin to share the streets with human-driven vehicles and pedestrians. We can also look at this from the perspective of the vehicle integrated with the city infrastructure. For example, we could more optimally route a vehicle to a destination if we can identify the status of traffic lights ahead. A vehicle could improve fuel efficiency if we can identify the location of parking spots or charging stations. And we can also improve safety if the city infrastructure can tell a vehicle that it's likely to be raining or that there might be ice on a particular road based on the micro weather conditions around that specific road or bridge, for example. Now the next market that we'll look at is facility management, and we're looking here at a construction site situation. So on a construction site, we have kind of a wide variety of assets that we might want to monitor, safety concerns related to people that we would want to monitor, and also processes such as electricity consumption, water consumption, and potentially also pollution outputs. So edge computing can allow us to monitor these situations in real time in a situation where we might have limited cloud connectivity or where the latency to connect to a cloud might not be sufficient, specifically when we're tracking kind of safety-related situations such as the location of people and the location of assets and ongoing work. Now the third market that we're looking at is the manufacturing market. And here we're taking a different perspective. So we're looking at 20 common use cases across a study where we cataloged 734 specific deployments or case studies. And what we were looking at here specifically was which use cases can be deployed on the cloud, on the edge, or on both. And the reality of the situation is that in most use cases could be deployed on either the cloud or the edge. Some use cases can be should best be deployed on a combination of cloud plus edge, so you want to do different types of computing power on both. The value of deploying on the edge versus the cloud is contingent on a few factors. It's contingent on the amount of data that you have to move in order to process. So if you have to move a significant amount of data, you're going to have quite significant transmission costs. It's contingent on whether that data needs to be combined with other data sources. So if we're looking at, for example, one production line, that might be best studied on the edge. But if we're looking at, for example, the production of a product and then also the arrival of raw materials from a supplier, then we would have to centralize that data into a cloud because it's coming from multiple sources that are not proximate to each other, right? One is coming from the factory, the other is coming from a supplier, and so those data sources would have to be centralized somewhere on the cloud. My expectation is that as the edge improves, more computing will be pushed down to the edge, but the cloud will, of course, maintain a very significant role. And there's some disagreement around whether 5G adoption will actually make it easier to move data from the edge to the cloud and therefore make the edge less valuable, or whether 5G will support adoption of solutions on the edge by enabling data to be brought to the edge and processed there or transmitted locally. I think the reality is that both in the industrial IoT space, both cloud computing and edge computing are both relatively new and are both going to see very significant adoption trends. And the question of whether to deploy on the cloud or in the edge is going to depend on the use case, but also on each company's specific operational situation and considerations regarding cost, CapEx versus OpEx, and then also safety concerns. Now, who is active in edge computing markets? Edge computing markets are particularly interesting because this then brings us to the question of who is active in edge computing markets. And edge computing markets are quite unique in the variety of companies with a stake in developing relevant technologies and use cases. So if we look at the tech stack here, this is really not so much the edge computing tech stack as just the industrial IoT tech stack, but I wanted to illustrate this to show the variety of companies that have a stake. So if we look at the physical world, we can look at companies like Tesla or DJI, who are device manufacturers, but who are producing devices where edge computing is really a critical component, and because of that, they are also developing their own technologies and even selling those technologies outside of the device to other third parties as a platform. Then we look at the edge layer. The edge layer is really where the incumbents sit here. So many of these companies have been somehow building edge computing solutions, or edge connectivity solutions at least, for decades. So here we have companies like Advantech, companies like Texas Instruments, Bosch. Then we have the cloud layer. Now the cloud layer here, of course, does not only sit in a data center that is kind of far separated away from the edge. Many of the cloud players are building solutions specifically for the edge. So they're basically bringing the cloud down to the edge to reduce latency, to reduce the data transmission costs, etc. So now we're seeing cloud deployed on-premise to an extent. So this premise could be in a factory, this premise could be a city. Then, of course, we have applications designed specifically for the edge. If we look at the supporting technologies are also being developed or customized to support edge computing. So analytics and modeling on the edge is quite different from modeling on the cloud, in that it's done on a very constrained compute environment. Cybersecurity on the edge has its own constraints. So we have a whole ecosystem of companies that are developing supporting technologies to enable edge computing. So in the whole, the edge computing market is very dynamic. It has a very broad array of stakeholders. I want to give one example of a company that I personally find quite interesting that's building an edge computing solution. And this is a company called Turbine. It's a startup. They've just launched their solution this year to the market. And what they are building is fundamentally, you can think of it like a Bloomberg for IoT data. So it's a centralized data marketplace where you can tap into a stream of IoT data and gain access to that. And so that in itself is already a very interesting business model, and that's primarily a cloud-based business model, right, where they have a central repository. But now they've learned that the value of data can, in some cases, increase as the latency decreases, right? So if we have real-time access to a data stream, it has value X, and if that data is then 10 minutes old, it has value Y, and value Y might be much lower than value X, depending on how I'm trying to use this. So then the question is, can we get real-time access to this data? And what they've also found is that a lot of data is more valuable locally than globally. So some data, you want to purchase a large time series, and you want it maybe from multiple different sources, that's fine. Then that can be a cloud-based solution. But some data, you need it real time and you need it local. You want to know what's happening to all the vehicles, on this street, in this neighborhood. And the way that they're addressing that is they're deploying the Turbine node on the base stations, local 5G base stations, cell towers. So the way that works is they have the master control tower that sits in the cloud. Then they have these regional MSO nodes that sit in different, let's say in a city or that cover a region, and those can communicate to multiple cell towers. But in situations where they really need real-time access to data, or where their customers require this, then they can deploy the nodes directly on a cell tower, and all of the devices that are communicating to that 5G cell tower can then access each other, right, without going through the backhaul, right? So that reduces the cost of moving data, also increases reduces the latency, right? Increases the ability to use that data in real time. So I thought this was a very interesting adoption of a technology that's first of all quite new, right? Building this central data repository for IoT data, but then bringing that down to the edge, so it doesn't just sit in the cloud as kind of a time series data, but can really be used in real time. Now, if we look more in China, who are the key players? Here we've divided them into automation, OEM, end users, ICT cloud, ICT connectivity, and industrial software. And there's just a couple of things I want to note about the Chinese market. Number one is we see quite, of course, strong positions by multinationals, but also strong positions by many local Chinese companies. If we look at the edge portfolio on the bottom, we see some areas, it's not shown so explicitly here, but the gateway, for example, where a very wide variety of companies are investing in gateways, even end users or OEMs who don't have any traditional business there, but view this as an extension of their business that makes sense because the technology is relatively mature and it's incorporated into a wide variety of solutions. So you have some aspects of the tech stack that are becoming quite saturated. The other thing I want to emphasize here is the ecosystem strategy. On the edge, ecosystem strategy is quite critical because companies want more or less an end-to-end solution, right? So they want a one-stop solution, which is very difficult for many of the traditional edge providers, companies to provide, because they're primarily selling a specific technology, and then being able to bring that end solution to market requires collaborating with partners. Another perspective on the Chinese market is the ecosystem around the Edge Computing Consortium, the ECC, and this is a kind of quasi-governmental organization. There are 260 members. 26 of them are non-mainland companies. The rest are mainland companies. Some of the founding members, so Intel and ARM, are also multinationals or non-Chinese companies. A couple things to point out here. One is industrial software is the largest company group. So these are, if you look at the 6 founding organizations, they're not industrial software companies, right? But when we look at the bulk of the companies that are involved, they're either industrial software or OEM. So industrial software is one of the areas around edge computing where we see a very strong presence of younger startup companies entering in, and a lot of the innovation, because the hardware is more mature, a lot of the innovation is now being driven by these industrial software companies. And then the OEMs, the automation companies, the ICT companies are either building their own software or they're looking to acquire younger companies in order to build up this capability and to provide more of a full tech stack around the edge. Now, why is the edge growing so quickly in China? One of the key reasons is the very significant investment in 5G infrastructure. China's expected to invest approximately $180 billion in 5G infrastructure over the next 5 years. By the 2025, China is expected to have approximately 1.9 billion cellular IoT connections, and of course many more non-cellular IoT connections. So we'll have a very robust connectivity environment for edge devices. And interestingly, approximately 90% of companies expect to generate incremental revenue through the adoption of 5G. And I'm not sure that this is very realistic. 90% to me seems a bit high, but I think it really speaks to the awareness and interest in the topic. So the market is very aware of the value of connectivity, and there's a very strong degree of interest in the market in looking at where innovation around edge connectivity and edge computing can support business growth and revenue growth. That's what I wanted to share with you today. So I hope you found the presentation interesting, and you're certainly welcome to reach out to me if you'd like to learn more. Thank you.
Thanks, Erik. The market landscape and adaptation trends for industrial IoT edge computing are definitely exciting, and it's a great opportunity for Advantech. Next, we will hear from Brian McCarson. Brian is Vice President and Senior Principal Engineer for Intel's Internet of Things Group. In his role, he is responsible for leading the Industrial Solutions Division, System Engineering and Architecture team. Let's listen to Brian's speech.
Hello, I'm Brian McCarson, and I'm really grateful to be here at the Industrial-IoT Partner Summit and invited to talk to you about how AI technologies are going to revolutionize manufacturing and smart cities in the world. At Intel, we have a vision for what the factory and city of the future is going to look like. And we're going to see more and more solutions transition to autonomy. Whether it's in a smart city deployment or a smart factory deployment, more and more business outcomes are going to rely on AI and control systems to deliver a better result to end users and consumers. The way this is going to happen, though, is going to require a harmony between multiple technologies, the first of which is AI. Artificial intelligence is going to be deployed safely in ways to help provide insights into how machines and systems and people are interacting with their environment. And if you have that balanced with an effective control system, those control technologies can then take action on the insights generated from your AI system. But for both of those things to work together, there's two other really important technologies that we think are going to be differentiating in the market. The first is you're going to have a way to help virtualize some of the compute functions. Whether it's high-performance compute specifically tailored for the artificial intelligence domain, whether it's time-sensitive networking capabilities, time-coordinated compute, or real-time deterministic control, more and more applications are going to rely on virtualized hardware. What this provides is a chance for a higher level of reliability, safety, and failover capability that's just going to make it easier for applications to get deployed. So that when a piece of hardware fails, rather than that whole system going down, you're going to see it seamlessly fail over to another backup system. And that application, that system, that feature that you're deploying in a smart city or a smart factory is going to be able to run and operate seamlessly throughout that transition. Another ingredient that's going to be really helpful in this space is 5G. What I'm expecting to see more and more of is factories realizing the power of having a private 5G network on their premise. The power of being able to move machines from one location to another and not have to drop a new Ethernet line. The power of being able to allow mobile robotics to exist inside a factory environment and have those be seamlessly integrated in with all the other applications that are required to make that factory run smoothly. And together, all of these ingredients are going to help shape the autonomous factory and the autonomous city of the future. So how do you build that foundation for autonomy? Well, it starts with the traditional IoT business, which is critically important to make sure that your environment is outfitted with the proper sensors to be able to detect what's happening in that business, in that city, in that factory, and allow that data to be moved to a location where it can be turned into information, whether that's the cloud or on the edge. But that's a necessary but insufficient condition to drive to autonomy. You also need to have artificial intelligence and control systems that are software defined. Why is it important for them to be software defined? Because if you can't allow an application to change a configuration setting, then it's going to require someone to go out to the field and make a physical hardware change. And that's just too expensive and too cumbersome to be realistic. So having systems become software defined allows you to make them future ready. It allows you to be able to deploy new applications, new features, new microservices on existing hardware and infrastructure. And you can do that in many cases over the air and do it safely and securely. And together this creates the foundation for an autonomous city or an autonomous factory. But there's other ingredients, like I mentioned before, that are just essential to make that work. You've got to be able to virtualize your compute. You've got to be able to have things like functional safety. If you're going to have humans interacting with robots, you've got to have things like 5G to help you connect to devices and machines in ways you haven't before, and actually allow machines to communicate with other machines in their environment to help keep the people around them and help keep the machines safe. And Intel wants to be there in every step of that journey. Our vision is that we will provide some of the most important technological building blocks and all of the enabling software capabilities that are needed to help our partners make this vision a reality. For an autonomous factory or an autonomous city to really run, though, you've got to be able to migrate more and more compute and decision-making to the edge. There's a lot of different definitions for what truly is the edge. If you're in a data center, you might define the edge one way. If you're at the network edge, you might define the edge another way. We're thinking about it holistically from the end-to-end solution. And the way we define the edge is just simply that process of making decision-making and compute resources more accessible to those endpoint devices at the extreme end of that end-to-end spectrum. Now, that doesn't mean that there's only one right location for compute, that there's only one right approach to connectivity. There's a nearly infinite number of combinations that you could use, and what's right is going to depend entirely on what you're trying to achieve with that end-to-end solution. But there are a few main reasons why we see a push towards the edge. Those drivers are latency, their bandwidth, security, and connectivity. In the case of latency, sometimes decisions have to be made in tens or hundreds of microseconds. If you've got an autonomous vehicle, if you've got a robot that's interfacing with other robots or could interact with humans in the environment, you don't want to wait seconds for a machine to realize someone is in harm's way. You want that decision to be made in real time. Bandwidth. There's a massive amount of data that's generated when you have AI running at the edge. A camera can be feeding terabytes of data per day to the cloud, and paying for all that data to be transferred over the network into the cloud is just not economical in all conditions. So bandwidth is another concern. Security, of course, is a main reason why some factories, for example, just don't feel comfortable allowing their critical IP, their recipe for success in manufacturing, to leave the premise of that manufacturing facility. And they want to know that they can keep all of that in a protected physical environment. And the last is simply connectivity. Sometimes there's just too much data that you could possibly distribute, or the requirements for how machines talk to one another just simply dictate you have to have a local area network to do the job. These are four main drivers for why we see more compute, connectivity, and storage moving towards the edge. In the case of autonomous manufacturing, there's several approaches that Intel's taking to try to really enable the ecosystem to achieve this promise of the fourth industrial revolution and achieve a level of autonomy in industrial systems. What we're trying to accomplish is taking that heart of the factory floor, that industrial PC, and outfit it with all the technologies that are needed so it can become a center point for that edge computing activity. The industrial PC of the past was critical in that it connected machines to the factory network, it ran applications like manufacturing execution systems, WIP management systems, but industrial PCs of the future are going to do a lot more. You're going to be able to virtualize the functions of programmable logic controllers and have multiple PLCs, instead of existing physically in the environment, can exist virtually on one piece of hardware. You're going to see network video recorder functions when you've got cameras that are doing quality control or looking for people coming into an autonomous zone where you've got cobots in the environment. And you're going to be running real-time AI capabilities and needing to execute commands to robots to shut down or slow down if they detect a hazard where a human could get hurt. You're going to see other advancements in terms of machine-to-machine communication through time-sensitive networking, and all of this is going to happen in an industrial PC that can come in a ruggedized form factor, where maybe you've got extended temperature concerns, you may not be able to have a cooling fan, so you've got to be able to dissipate all the heat that you have on that system. And the industrial PC of the future is going to be able to do all these things well. But this isn't a vision for what tomorrow is going to look like. This is a description of what's available today and what's proven to be working in the market today. There are other ways that Intel's trying to help in the market. For example, the work that we're doing to try to provide enabling software for AI with our Insights effort, and the work we're doing to try to enable real-time deterministic controls with the enabling software we offer for controls. But there's other things Intel's trying to do in this space as well to make it easier for our partners and end users to gain access to all the value of the transistors that are in their hardware. Our Edge Insights and Edge Controls software ingredients are available to our partners to help make that transition to autonomy that much easier. To be able to take a microservices architectural approach to solving some of the challenges that exist in the factories. And this hardware and software enabling is coming together with Intel's market-ready solutions and our RFP-ready kits to be able to show people how it works. We're not just trying to throw ingredients out to the market and see what sticks. We've been working for years with hundreds of factories across the entire breadth of the industrial segment to actually deploy solutions in factories, see how they work, make continuous improvements, and optimize those ingredients for better and better and better performance. And that's our promise to you. We're going to continue to try to make the deployment of autonomous industrial systems easier and easier with each technological evolution. Now I'm going to share with you a real example of how we've been able to help improve the performance of factories. The two videos that you see side by side is showing you how much data is being collected at the edge with edge inference and the assessment of every single frame coming off of a high-definition camera that's monitoring parts coming off of a casting machine. The other image on the right is showing you just the screenshots of the individual images where edge inference is being performed and the results of that edge inference. One is an example of what data is being processed at the edge. The other is the example of what data is being sent to the cloud. And we're showing these two side by side to give you a feel for how big the opportunity is in the cloud for the modernization of the world's factories. We're talking about terabytes of new data per factory per day across the millions of factories globally that could become part of the growth of the world's cloud infrastructure. But as massive as that is, it's dwarfed by the amount of data that's being collected at the edge. At the edge, we're seeing in some cases 1,000, 2,000, 8,000 plus times the amount of data that's going to the cloud, as massive as that is being processed at the edge. That's a tremendous amount of compute, connectivity, and storage that you've got to be able to manage if you expect to be able to deploy advanced AI capabilities in an industrial environment. And all of this is enabled by the kind of edge computing capabilities that we're able to provide and the key software ingredients that are also there to help enable the kind of applications you want to go deploy in the world's factories. And some of the examples that we're seeing are just astonishing. When we work with some of these factories, we're seeing cases where the human eye is maybe able to detect 1 in 5 of the defects coming off of a machine. Not because the humans there aren't talented and skilled and trained in how to find these defects, but because the human eye just simply isn't designed to be able to detect millimeter-type variations on a very complex part. Whereas a high-definition camera running an inference algorithm at the edge is ideally suited to do those kind of functions. So instead of having to have a number of individuals strain their eyes trying to see something that they're not equipped to see, they can concentrate on dispositioning all the defects that's being detected by the AI system running on that industrial PC right next to the machine. And by doing that, in the examples that we're showing here on this table, there's a factory that we worked with in particular that had 4 different major defect modes that they were trying to detect using AI capabilities, and we were able to see 99.6 or better defect detection rates with extremely low false fail and false positive rates. And this isn't on a sample size of just 10 or 20 or 100 different units. This is running in a factory for a long period of time with tens of thousands of samples running through the machine. So really large volumes of statistically significant data showing a massive ROI. How massive? Well, if you talk to a lot of companies, acceptable ROI might be measured in 18 months. If you can get a return on investment in 18 months, that's considered in most industries a no-brainer. All right, have I piqued your interest yet? Hopefully. If you want to learn more, you can go to our Edge Insights for Industrial page or our Edge Controls for Industrial page. These will walk you through all the fundamental architectural decisions that were made and how we provide the hardware and software ingredients necessary to achieve this greater degree of autonomy. How you can go deploy software-defined AI frameworks, software-defined control frameworks in factories, on machines today, and do so in a way that's going to make these systems future-ready for the challenges and opportunities that are going to present themselves in the days, months, and years to come. If you want to get access to the software, we've got one location to make that easy. It's the Edge Software Hub. You can click on the Software Hub, you can decide, are you interested in AI, are you interested in controls, and you can select the kind of configurations that are relevant for the problems you're trying to solve in your factories with your customers and partners. Pick the configuration that's right for you, download the image, get full access to the software, and get started right away. These are steps we're taking to try to make the experience you have on our hardware and software better than it's ever been before and help you enable this 4th industrial revolution. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian, for sharing how artificial intelligence technologies revolutionize manufacturing and smart cities. Now we are going to hear from Erik Josefsson. Erik has a passion for Industry 4.0 and is leading Ericsson's Industrial IoT and 5G offering to the manufacturing and process industries. He is based at Ericsson headquarters in Stockholm in Sweden and currently holds the title Head of Advanced Industries. Erik has been always active in 5G for industry programs. As the head of business innovation, he was driving commercialization of autonomous vehicles and industrial site deployments with 5G. It's my pleasure to welcome Erik Josefsson.
Hi everyone, welcome to Ericsson. This is our experience center. We're doing all the latest and cool things that is coming towards the industries. And today we'll talk about how to ushering the new potential of 5G in industrial IoT. We will talk about 3 main things. One is the perfect timing that we're stepping into right now, when IT, OT, and communication is merging. Second thing is, show me the money. How do I make money on this? And the third, giving you a couple of real-life examples. So let's go with number 1, the perfect timing. We see that 4G and 3G and 2G was all made for consumer. 5G though is made for you, the industry. And new applications are coming that are demanding totally new way of deploying networks. 98% of all connections in a factory is wired today. And we have cabling and cabling and cabling, kilometers of cabling. And as we're getting to the next step of Industry 4.0, when IT, OT, like what I'm standing and holding here, and communication is all merging to cyber physical systems, we need a much more reliable, stable communication. And that's what 5G has as a promise. So now you have been standing here or thinking, what is he actually wearing? This is one of the world's first exoskeleton that is smart. So when you put on this glove, it is wireless connected over 4G, and later we can do that also over 5G, so that you can walk around and get 20% extra strength. So if I would touch this organ, it gives me 20% extra strength in my hand. Super cool. This is when OT technology, like exoskeleton, is combined with wireless technology so that you can run around, and the IT equipment that I can actually configure how strong this hand gonna be. Just a fun fact. We are in the rise of wireless. In Ericsson, we see that this is three prime areas that is happening. The first step is the 2020 to 2024, which is the first phase when wireless step by step start to outgrow wired. Second phase is when we see a CAGR of 9% growth. And in 2030, we believe that we will look back at this time of cabling as something that was for the past. Similar as how strange it would feel to actually connect your phone with a cable today. Fixed telephony is dead, and it's mobile communication. Same thing, fixed communication in factories and industrial sites will be dead, and everything will be mobile. And we have gone through the journey: connect, collect, analyze, and then act. So connect with the network, collect the data, analyze the data, and then full action with AI machine learning. This is the journey that we're on. So what are we looking at? We're looking at the network. When you connect, that looks something like this. This is an industry connect. We have connected this one with the actual devices from Advantech over something like this. It's good that I have strong hand. A 4G antenna, and this is indoor, how it looks like, the smallest one, and we also have outdoor. Going to edge compute capacity, so nothing leaves your premise. This is what we contribute from Ericsson, and then we complement with the software stack from Advantech and the devices from Advantech. That's the perfect timing, how it all comes together. Now we step to the second chapter that we're going to talk about today, which is show me the money. So let me take this one off. And bring up the cash. Technology is great, but cash is king. Ericsson started to collaborate with KPMG and to see what is the business potential if you start to cut cables and enable full flexible production. Turned out that if you put all of it together, that reducing the waste, increase the flexibility, and introduce new digital services, that you can generate $1 per square meter per day. Call that POC to cash with KPMG. That $1, if you start to add that into 10,000 square meter factory over a year, it quickly ends up to be around $4 million of unleashed potential if you go fully wireless with 4G, later 5G technology, and reap the benefit of digitalization. So cash is king, and this is the type of analysis that we also do together with our partners like KPMG. Another latest analysis that we did is together with ABI Research. Look at what are the killer use cases, and we see that the asset tracking, AMRs, condition-based monitoring, all comes onto that list. And it turned out that you can generate a 10 to 20 times ROI over 5 years if you adopt cellular dedicated network like the one that I'm standing behind. And there is a cost of inaction if you don't start to do it now. We see this happening across the globe. US is now ramping up with smart manufacturing. We see China and the Asia market stepping up big time, and a lot of research has been done in Europe. So it's a race. Who's going to be the fastest and also the most competitive advantage? So cash is king, and we have seen that from many perspectives. So let's look into we have seen the cash, we have seen that there is a perfect momentum, but you need an ecosystem. You can't do this alone. So Ericsson, we partner up with local communication service provider like Telstra or China Mobile or AT&T, and then direct towards the enterprise. And in that triangle of trust, we're working very tight with Advantech on the device side. We're looking at application partners and strong system integrators. When those come together in triangle of trust, that's when the power lies in 5G. So let's look at a couple of examples. Let's get real. So in Ericsson, we have done now over 50 plus deployments in dedicated networks across the globe with 4G and 5G, and we will look into 3 of those. Let's get started with Atlas Copco, Orange and Ericsson, where we actually have a lot of Advantech devices also being connected. Let's go to Belgium and look at the video.
Atlas Copco is known for its premium products. That's why we have the obligation to always make our products and production processes better. We have to make our factories more productive, and we believe we can do that by making them smarter.
We have deployed a 5G-ready network with the smallest indoor antennas from Ericsson, connecting the shop floor.
This technology gives us the possibility to connect our machines wirelessly instead of the traditional way with cables. We can also connect now moving machines like AGVs, but the real exciting use cases will come when we can make use of the low latency, where we will try to push our production machines to the extreme limits.
Orange Belgium guarantees a secure mobile connectivity for the industry. Manufacturers are requiring this kind of setup. They need full availability of the system 24/7. In addition, they also want to have a protection of their data. Our network enables this.
I am very pleased with the collaboration between Atlas Copco, Ericsson and Orange. You know, when you push technology, it's quite challenging, but we all learn a lot.
Imagine when everything is connected, wireless, mobile, and fully flexible. The potential is enormous.
I think the factory of the future will be a lot more autonomous, have a lot more automation and a lot more intelligence. But we will always need skilled people.
Here we connect AGVs, autonomous guided vehicles, PLCs, programmable logical controllers in the machines, and camera sensors in a stable, secure shop floor LAN. Bring it all to life. Let's show the people behind the scene. We have people from Ericsson, we have a great team from Atlas Copco, working together with a local operator, in this case Orange, and good devices from Advantech, truly bringing the triangle of trust to life. Now I've been in Belgium. Let's move over to Germany. And this is where we stand. It's a production cell with a collaborative robot that mount steering wheels for Audi. Audi is a close partner of Ericsson, and we have worked many years together on setting the standards of 5G in production. This specific cell showcase URLLC, ultra reliable low latency communication. If the robot would have been on, as soon as I would step in with my hand here, it would have stopped. Down to millisecond requirement and a reliable network, you can in the future have open production cells without any fences. Audi is doing a lot of work setting the standards, and another German car producer that we're also very proud to announce that we have a full new greenfield factory with is Daimler. So Mercedes-Benz. Factory 56 was just recently launched. It's a 220,000 square meter factory, and the initial phase we connect 2,000 square meter with a 5G ready network. The production manager, they see the potential of wireless communication and the stability of cellular, that it can increase the production efficiency with 15% until already 2022. Significant benefit. I'm moving from Germany to Switzerland. Just before COVID-19 hit, we showcased one of the coolest demos down there. We call it Tsai 5G, but it's a single-arm Yumi collaborative robot from ABB that is connected over real 5G network with Swisscom. Generate 1,200 megabit per second with the camera recording that is needed, and we can get down to 4 milliseconds latency in this specific network to cope with the demand of a full collaborative robot. So let me explain how that worked. We set up one collaborative robot in the registration tent and one 2 kilometers away in the actual hall. And for people that maybe have seen the type of delegations that come to World Economic Forum, here is Angela Merkel, Donald Trump, and all the crazy princes and princesses. And having them with a stroke of a pen showing the value of a digital twin and controlling robots 2 kilometers away. So what it meant was that you take a pen, and when you write on a tablet, the robot do exactly the same thing 2 kilometers away. And you also see a representation of the physical world there, truly bringing the IT, the OT, and communication together into the cyber-physical system. That was our last showcase before COVID-19. Now we do these digital demos, but it's also okay. In summary, IT, OT, and communication is merging. We know that we're going to cut a lot of cables together with Advantech and you as our partners. The wireless demand is rising, and there is significant cash to benefit from it. And it's not just theory, we're doing it live. Around in Germany, in Switzerland, in Sweden, but also in the US and in Asia. Thank you so much for joining me in this session and learn more about the potential of 5G. And please don't hesitate to reach out if you have more questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Erik, for sharing how 5G connectivity evolution is helping to drive industrial IoT. Next, we are going to switch gears and hear from a few Advantech's ecosystem partners. The group will discuss ways they are winning in IoT through collaboration. We are lucky to have 3 executives from 3 different technology partners with us. In the panel, we have Don Pearson, who is the Chief Strategy Officer for Inductive Automation. His experience includes a broad business background of ownership and management positions in the food and beverage, hospitality sectors, and a business consulting partnership in the healthcare and insurance industry. We also have Jan Kollar. He's the CEO of Passengera. Jan is managing the growth of global expansion of Passengera to become one of the leading companies providing passenger and connectivity service worldwide. And last but not least, we have Markus Ahonen from NDC Network. Marcus and his team have built a reputation in Finland for taking on difficult wireless networking problems and resolving them into an elegant, manageable system. He manages special purpose networks, a business line responsible for services and solutions to critical infrastructure such as rail, road keeping, and energy. Advantech is a huge proponent of collaboration and ecosystems. And there are a few statistics that I like to share on this topic to get the conversation started. According to a recent Hitachi survey, 58% of business leaders across Europe claimed they are piloting or rolling out co-creation projects. However, a similar number said they have yet to put processes and workflows in place to make it happen. For those that manage to overcome these barriers, the benefits are significant. Of those businesses that had adopted co-creation, 61% claimed it had helped them produce more successful products and services, while 57% said it transformed their approach to innovation. Other benefits include improving their firm's societal impact, reducing their R&D cost, and improving financial performance. On this topic, my first question is to Don. You have more than 35 years of management experience and are closely involved with your corporate strategy and client successes. Can you get our discussion started by sharing your thoughts on how ecosystems help customers realize the full potential of industrial Internet of Things?
Thanks, Josh. That's a really good question. One of the lessons I would say that we've learned is that for a successful IoT project or digital transformation initiative, no one of us has all the answers. So it really does depend on us collaborating properly and bringing together best-of-breed solutions that each of us as organizations can contribute to the overall result. Thus, the subject of ecosystems is the idea that each of us does what we do best, and then those core competencies come together to serve the digital transformation needs of a customer by bringing together all of the necessary pieces of that puzzle. But I'd like to take a minute and just expand on that a little bit, Josh. And why I'm doing that is I've come to feel pretty strongly about the importance of ecosystems in really helping customers realize the full potential of IIoT. And early on, this is a couple of years ago, I read a book which really influenced me. And the title of the book is Industry X.0, Realizing Digital Value in Industrial Sectors. It's by a guy named Eric Schaefer, who's a senior marketing director at Accenture. Schaefer makes a couple of points, and he points out very clearly that the future of digital transformation in the industrial sector is all about platforms and ecosystems built around them. He emphasizes that ecosystems are often open networks of strategic business partners with the common aim of driving growth and fostering innovation. He also says that ecosystems are a company's competitiveness network and that they consist of cooperators, suppliers, institutions, customers, and other stakeholders. And he says, quote, typically ecosystems are built around intellectual property stemming from one core partner, end quote. If we start with that definition of ecosystems in mind, I'll answer your question by sharing a quick overview of the ecosystem that we've built around our software platform, Ignition. You see, we see the Ignition ecosystem as a network of companies and products and services, and they're all working together to create an environment that fuels the innovation and the growth of the Ignition community. And this allows us to help our customers better achieve their IoT or digital transformation goals. As we've added over the years different areas to the Ignition ecosystem, they've been added with the goal of genuinely being able to empower the customers with the partners and the tools they need for them to be successful. We started building our ecosystem on a strong foundation of technology, and that foundation for inductive automation is our Ignition platform. It's an open, interoperable, cross-platform, standards-based, and secure industrial application platform, which is the foundation of the ecosystem. On top of that foundation, we added first-class support and training options, including free online Ignition training through Inductive University and educational partnerships with many universities and colleges. Plus, our free software development kit, or SDK, allows anyone to produce their own Ignition modules and extend the functionality of Ignition to serve their customers. However, these aren't the only things people need to succeed. We realized that we needed to create a true partnership between our company and our users. Steve's background was as an integrator, and integrators are the foundation of our delivery to end-user industrial organizations across the world. The integrator program has grown over the years. We now have over 2,400 integrators in the program doing business in over 100 countries. And to ensure great service to our integrators across the world, we recently launched our International Ignition Distributor Program. We're establishing distributorships that deliver sales, support, training, and customer service in the local language and local time zones. But now to our partnership with Advantech and how important it is to us and our customers. As many of you know, one of the major trends shaping the industry today is moving out to the edge. Industrial organizations are trying to get connected from the sensor up to the cloud and to push more power and functionality closer to the edge. So we introduced a line of Ignition software solutions made specifically for the field and OEM devices at the edge of the network. Then we took it a step further with the Ignition Onboard program, which makes it easy to find affordable IIoT-ready out-of-the-box Ignition integrated hardware solutions. This helps customers select exactly the hardware devices and configuration they need. Advantech is one of the first and strongest Ignition Onboard partners. In fact, Advantech is currently featuring 8 hardware products with Ignition Onboard out of the box. It has been a pleasure just to work with Advantech as an ecosystem partner. Travis and I actually had the pleasure of attending your partner conference last December in Taipei. And in addition to your team being really great hosts at the partner conference, which we thoroughly enjoyed and had a great time in Taipei, also, we were pretty impressed with your approach to partnerships and ecosystems, as well as your development of solution-ready products. This is clearly what the customer is asking for to help them with their digital transformation challenges. Our ecosystem also has strategic partners whose products provide specific domain expertise. The SDK, as I mentioned earlier, lets third-party module developers build their own modules with Ignition for free. We provide the platform, and the users add their domain and industry expertise to it. This extends the value of our software into almost any area of industry that you could possibly imagine. So this ecosystem, this concept of working together, it all started with our technology solution Ignition, and every step of the way we built programs and partnerships, not arbitrarily, but where we felt it would serve our customers the best. Now that industrial platform, Ignition, is supported by this entire ecosystem of industrial organizations, integrators, developers, distributors, and manufacturers. But this brings us full circle to your question, because the central figure in all of this has to be the customer. We're doing it for the customer. Ultimately, an ecosystem has to serve as a network of companies, products, and services that collectively fuel innovation and growth and that lead to the customer's success in achieving their goals of digital transformation. I hope that just this little talk about ecosystems and what we experienced at our company can serve to illustrate that enterprises actually need technology and they need integration partners who will be there to support implementation and drive innovation, and which is why I think ecosystems are so necessary for IoT success. Appreciate the chance to answer your question.
Thank you, Don. This is a very insightful answer. We are always looking for ways to support our end clients by working together with partners like you. We also have Jan Koller here with us today. I will let him introduce himself. Jan, Can you tell us about your cooperation with Advantech and the solutions you are providing to the transportation market?
Thank you, Josh, for a brief introduction. It's a pleasure to be invited again for a speech on Advantech Summit to share our success of our cooperation. Passenger is a global provider of connectivity, business and communication platforms for transport operators. We connect trains, buses and vessels to the internet with high available, fast, secured and manageable connectivity, which helps transport operators to provide new and innovative digital services to the passengers and build the true connected vehicles concept. Our business and communication platform provides transport operators with new communication channels to the passengers and creates new business opportunities. Passengers can enjoy enhanced traveling experience with real-time information, entertainment, and onboard services, always available from their own devices. To be able to provide such services, we need reliable hardware platforms customized for our needs. Advantech perfectly fits to our requirements with its worldwide coverage, flexibility in customizations, and support. Since our collaboration started in 2015, we have already successfully delivered projects on 4 continents worldwide, and co-creation agreement between our companies will help to close more projects in the near future.
Great. Now that everyone knows the background of our collaboration, I'm curious how the transportation industry specifically has been affected by COVID-19. We all know that international travel has been significantly affected. It's a major reason we are doing this conference in a virtual format today. So, have you seen changes in the solutions demanded by transportation companies? Do you have a success story you can share of projects you delivered together with your ecosystem?
Thank you, Josh, for such a question. Yes, especially after COVID-19 pandemic, which affected transportation market globally a lot, we see changes in demands from transport companies. For example, if I take a look back, I remember several years ago, we were asked by transport companies to provide as fast internet connectivity on board as possible. Nowadays, when mobile data connectivity technologies are very evolved and at high speed, same companies are getting back to us and asking for a solution to decrease their operation cost of onboard Wi-Fi service. Because passengers are using Wi-Fi a lot, they are consuming significant amount of mobile data, which creates considerable cost for transport operators. And also, demands for an onboard services has changed. Previously, majority of customer requests for services on top of Wi-Fi were for entertainment services to provide content like movies, music, games and magazines. But recent demands are more for complex platforms which can provide relevant information to the passengers on all possible digital touchpoints during passenger journey. It includes pre-journey, during onboard and after-journey services, which results in 360 degrees passenger care. This has been proved as extremely useful since COVID-19 pandemic recovery, where real-time information communication is needed more than before. Passengers want to be informed about service operation limitations, vehicle occupancy, and other restrictions, all in real time and in advance. These platforms, together with entertainment content and other onboard services like food order issue, creates engagement platform that transport operators could use to generate higher average revenue per user while building the trusted communication channel with the passengers. Apart of the passenger services, there is also higher demand on security, both on passenger security and on secure train communication infrastructure as well. Onboard Wi-Fi projects are not only about providing internet access anymore, but also to build a cybersecurity strategy to protect transport operators' assets, secure vehicle operation, and keep the passengers safe. To meet all those customer requirements, we built together with Advantech modular and flexible solution, which you can see on the slide below. It protects the customer investment, allows flexible deployments, and growth with additional services in the future. All what I have been talking about now was already proven by our customer success stories. For example, we helped Flixbus on their selected bus lines to increase the passenger satisfaction while providing premium internet connectivity and infotainment platform as a service to fit within their strategy. We also run complex 360-degree communication platform additionally to onboard Wi-Fi for Rheinische Bahn in Switzerland, where passengers can use the automated customer care with applied artificial intelligence while looking for information relevant for their trip. We also provide the interactive travel guide with real-time information and internet access for passengers on board in-carrier trains going to Machu Picchu in Peru. We will serve millions of users with seamless user Wi-Fi experience and monetization platform on large metro projects in the Middle East.
Thank you, Jan. It's great to hear about your successes and the important role of collaboration. The benefits of collaborations are not specific to one industry. And I want to ask our third panelist today a few questions as well. Marcus, can you give us a quick introduction about yourself and your organization?
NDC Networks was founded in '93, and back then the company was all about importing and distributing or reselling communication devices and products, typically to niche needs. So already back then we were always looking to get ourselves into various kinds of problems. Around 2012 I joined the company. It was pretty obvious that the reselling and distribution business as it on its own was not going to carry us into a direction we wanted to go. So we started to look for ways to offer services to our customers, and slowly and surely evolved into what we are today, which is a hybrid between doing reselling and distribution, but also a systems integrator, which means that we design, build, and operate networks and various services around those, of course. The typical product that we will sell will be, for instance, a complete WiMAX network. We'll design it, we'll build it, and then we'll operate it. These days we're getting into private LTE, and if someone needs a large, let's say county or city-wide wireless network that might need a wireless backbone, then we'll design the microwave solution for that. And also for global connectivity, then we work on satellite technology as well. But our largest business, and the reason why we're quite fond of Advantech, is that our largest business is building M2M networks. That is to say, fleets of hundreds or thousands of mobile routers spread around a country or the world, and all those are connected back to the home office and creating a virtual network. And those networks can be used to control a power network, to gather IoT data, to provide remote connectivity for hardware that's been sent around the world, you name it. And for those networks, we've been successfully using Advantech products since 2012.
Thank you for that introduction. You've worked with Advantech for years, and this is not the first conference where you have presented. Oh, and I recommend that everyone be sure to watch Marco's presentation tomorrow. He will be sharing the success stories in smart automation track. So I won't ask you, Marcus, to share some success stories of ecosystem partnerships now. Instead, I would like to get your perspective on Advantech. What do you think sets us apart in this ecosystem, and what do you think Advantech needs to do to stay competitive?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. I'd say that in a word, it's addressing the needs of big IT, and when I say big IT, what I'm referring to are companies that you're used to seeing in office networks, but not in operational networks, so OT networks. So, for instance, companies like Cisco, Fortinet, and Checkpoint, for instance, all have introduced products in the last years that address the needs of OT networks. So there's competition that is coming from the IT space. And the reason that's important is that in all the companies that we work with, even though our offering is always to the OT side of things, the operational networks, the senior leadership is always in the IT department rather than in the OT side of things. And the senior leadership has a background in working, usually at least, with office networks. So when they come into a company and they're looking at a mismatch between the IT guys and the OT guys, and they're thinking, how am I going to bring all these together? They're going to take their expectations on how networks are managed and run based on their experience in IT and office networking. And as a result, what that means is requirements have a lot more focus on process. There's a lot more focus on cybersecurity technology. And there'll be more interest in things like PKI and certificates and processes for handling cybersecurity exceptions, all kinds of things that, frankly, a lot of OT vendors are not that familiar with. They're sort of playing at a different level, and it really does mean that and I think, frankly, I think Advantech's been doing a good job in sort of ensuring that it's keeping up with that pace. But there are a lot of vendors who have sort of lost the plot already. They're not even addressing this transformation in how large corporations are now buying industrial IT. So I would say stay the course on ensuring that you can address the same requirements that you would have to if you were offering a network solution for the office side of things, because that's the future. IT teams are going to be managing OT networks as well, and they're going to have advanced requirements. And we have multiple vendors we work with, and I'm happy to say that through the years, Advantech has become the most important vendor for us. And I would say the easy answer is, there's a huge portfolio of products. The products are competitively designed and priced. But for us, we've been very focused on these mobile routers and IoT products, especially ones where you'd be spreading a large fleet of devices all around the world. It's a tricky space because you need to have decent hardware, but there's a huge and increasingly growing demand for well-built software. And I think where Advantech really differentiates itself, especially in the mobile router space, is that the router stack itself, the way the software has been built, is feature complete. It offers a lot of features that you don't get in a lot of the similar products. And rather than focus on building the cheapest possible hardware that can only be used in small installations, the Advantech software stack on the router side is such that it lends itself to very large projects as well. So if we have a customer that says, hey, could we have a solution? We have 50 sites. We could use any brand. But if the customer comes to us and says, we need a solution, we need 1,000 or 5,000 or 10,000 endpoints, we don't offer them anything else but Advantech. One of the biggest reasons is that there's been a huge push for managing devices remotely because of cybersecurity concerns. And there, I would say that there's a huge advantage with what Advantech has built with Web Access DMP. It really does allow you to run after the really big projects, because you can be pretty confident that with that product, managing thousands of routers, you're not going to run into trouble. So I'd say that the biggest differentiator for us is that with Advantech, we can go after big projects, not just the little ones. And obviously, if you're looking to grow business, that's pretty important.
It's always good to hear that kind of feedback. And we have always worked hard to be an innovative organization, so it's good to hear that the market recognizes that as well. And the OT and IT convergence has been on our radar for a few years and will continue to be an area of focus of us. Thank you for your insight and perspective on this topic. It's greatly appreciated. This brings us to the end of our panel discussion on winning the IoT future with ecosystem partners. I want to give a warm thank you to Don, Jan and Marcus for joining me today. And we are also thankful for the many other ecosystem partners who have joined us in the coming days as presenters, but also those who are listening in. Together, we can create stronger solutions for our clients. I truly believe that a key success factor in industrial IoT lies in adequate collaboration and integration between Advantech and industry professionals, like our ecosystem partners demonstrated in this discussion just now. The last session of today will be led by Linda Tsai. As the president of Advantech's Industrial IoT group, she has invited a number of IoT regional sector heads, including myself. We will discuss how we are planning to transform to ensure business in our region will thrive into the post-pandemic world. Let's welcome Linda again.
Welcome to panel discussion. In the coming 30 minutes, we will discuss the topic, Realize Post-Pandemic Transformation with Digital Enterprise. Before we start the panel discussion, I would like to introduce our sales executive from Advantech Global Region. The first one is Josh Bashida. He is from Advantech Europe. Jerry O'Gorman from Advantech USA. Vincent Zhang from Advantech Intercom countries. Yilong Shen from Advantech North Asia. My name is Linda Tsai, President of Industrial IoT from Advantech. I'm the moderator for this panel discussion. The COVID-19 outbreak has become a stress test around the globe. It does not only impact on people's everyday life, but also slow down worldwide economic. It's changed the way we work. The online and offline collaboration become our daily work with colleagues and partners. Digital optimization with AR, VR, AI, and digital twin are widely adopted to improve quality and efficiency. Many industries are severely impacted by COVID-19 pandemic. One of them is manufacturing sector. No matter large or small companies, they are quickly expanding to use robots to reduce the number of staff and create a new application to provide contactless and social distance to people. First, I would like to ask Josh. So question to Josh will be, what are the post-pandemic trends that will influence in industry business in Europe?
Thank you, Linda, for the introduction and the question. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Europe ended up in a deep historical recession. The GDP has dropped within a few months between 5 to 10%. But there's optimism that countries will recover again from 2021 and a strong rebound growth is expected. Unemployment rates have been increasing rapidly. Spain, Italy and France unemployment rate will stay substantially higher than 10% in 2021. Germany expects to stay below 5%. Financial stimulation packages and support has been keeping companies away from bankruptcy. As a consequence, state debts has increased, which need to be recovered in coming years. And the European Commission's post-COVID-19 recovery fund of €750 billion marks a meaningful step forward to bring the European countries closer and empower the integration. Overall, we can conclude that COVID-19 made implementations of smart solutions moving faster. The outbreak has been a catalyst and an accelerator for diversity of innovations. Let me concentrate on 5G, analytics, and AI and machine learning. We experience that COVID-19 is pushing 5G forward very fast. We need better networks to keep everyone connected and enhance digital collaboration and communication. It helps leaders to remotely motivate and inspire their teams. It's changing the way we run our businesses, increasing productivity and reducing operational costs like traveling, marketing, and workplaces. We interact faster and become more agile. Technical installations are commissioned by remote support teams. Simply said, the show just going on. We see that telcos companies are accelerating their 5G enrollment plans. What is clear is that 5G innovation was not slow at all by the pandemic, and it will continue to accelerate in coming months and next years. Analytics proved to be a powerful strategy against competition to make organizations faster, leaner, smarter, so investments will continue here. We've seen real-time health dashboards over the past few months to help governments and businesses make decisions to protect their citizens and employees. Now, as businesses are reopening again, we are using analytics dashboard for contact tracing and to help making operational decisions in the workplace. We experienced that big data without artificial intelligence software algorithms to analyze it is useless. There's a lot of investment now in seeing software-driven automation accelerating with the help of AI. AI and machine learning are great technologies to help organizations to fuel their insights. Chip makers like NVIDIA and Intel are building GPUs and CPUs that can boost training and learning from data. This is also being expanded out to the edge, where AI is helping to accommodate the masses of data from AI. As we try to make sense of more data to keep people, schools, workplaces safe, AI and machine learning will continue to be a shining star. One way to solve the lack of human bandwidth is the use of conversational AI software robots to communicate with customers. We will see increased development here as companies realize they simply won't have the human bandwidth to accelerate in customer satisfaction. Most of these trends will continue to grow in the future. We are experiencing how a lot of this innovation can help us stay connected, stay healthy, be faster making decisions, and more productive. So they are here to stay. But as we are continually pushed to our limits, I believe that more companies will discover better ways to use these technologies. So we will see many new innovations in Industry 4.0 and smart city applications because COVID-19 has activated the flywheel effect to accelerate it.
So Josh, can you share with us a few examples from the field?
The ecosystem is an important strategy in Advantech's business growth. We believe that the implementation and acceleration of the digital evolution depends on the successful creation of partnerships, bringing together technology vendors, software platform providers, vertical domain experts, and a local footprint into a single ecosystem targeted at improving end users' business capabilities. According to Steve Case, writer of the book The Third Wave, businesses will have to build partnerships to innovate and positively change the way we live our daily lives. In his book Exponential Organization, Salim Ismail identifies partnerships as one of the critical elements in the creation of exponential business growth. At Advantech, we have always believed that partnerships are crucial to our success. They are clearly part of our DNA. So it makes sense that our next phase of growth strategy is based on partnerships. We call it co-creation, and it is our emerging business model designed to take us to the next decades of growth to come. With our co-creation partners, we add value to our technology stack by integrating end-to-end software solutions targeted at specific business applications. These so-called solution-ready packages can be deployed quickly and easily. Typically, they only need a user configuration to create a proof of concept installation, meaning users can deploy IoT technologies faster than ever before, creating immediate value and a quick return on investment. I want to share some examples. Our partner RoboVision has created a no-code software platform allowing users to harness the power of AI for computer vision. You can create custom AI models for your own use cases without needing coding skills and visualize the model's output through the RoboVision dashboarding. It's easy to deploy and scale to new camera streams, implementing existing algorithms and increase model accuracy by retraining models. RoboVision is also convinced that an ecosystem of partners is needed to accelerate with AI in Industry 4.0. QBeyond is providing integrated IoT and cloud solutions with finely calibrated hardware and software components. Combined with Advantech's leading smart IoT systems and edge computing platforms, QBeyond is enabled to provide a solution-as-a-service business model. Their customers are medium-sized German companies in manufacturing and retail. For proof-of-concept deployments of IoT installations, a starter kit is available. Our partner Brain Creators has launched Brain Matter, an intelligent automation platform for visual asset inspection and monitoring. The solution performs rapid identification of physical assets, instantly checks their status against the norm, and initiates immediate actions when required. It helps manufacturers' operational excellence increase and also prevent proprietary and domain experts' know-how getting lost, because those are kept within AI software models. Their software can be also deployed in infrastructure and the real estate market. Back to you, Linda.
Thank you, Josh, for the sharing to let us understand how European countries to do with the post-COVID-19 and how the digital transformation will accelerate IoT applications. In North America, I would like to ask Jerry, so how is Advantech America responding to the business shift caused by the pandemic, and particularly where are your plans to promote a digital enterprise philosophy?
Thanks, Linda. There is no doubt that the pandemic posed many challenges to business, especially with regard to business resilience and supply chain. With two large interchangeable manufacturing sites in China and Taiwan, Advantech was equal to this challenge. In a large geographic area like that of North America, I believe Advantech is extremely well positioned to respond to the typical business disruptions and provide multiple layers of business resilience. Our local service and logistics centers in Milpitas, California and Ottawa, Illinois, protected our customers against supply chain disruptions. Our capability to leverage both global manufacturing sites as well as comprehensive local service and assembly centers provides excellent risk mitigation to our customers. Now, our continued investments in expanding sales office infrastructure and deep channel network development will ensure extensive local contacts and support for our customers in an era of restricted travel. In addition to our existing sales offices in Irvine, California and Cincinnati, Ohio, we've recently opened new sales hubs in Chicago and Toronto with plans for Boston, Dallas, and possibly Miami. We are investing in enhanced ERP, SAP HANA, and business management systems. These systems are fully integrated across our global operations to continuously enhance our capability for automated and remote business transactions. In terms of our digital enterprise approach, we are currently deploying AI modeling in our manufacturing and supply chain processes. In North America, we've launched a new e-commerce platform called IoT Mart, with a particular focus on device and connectivity product offerings. We have very strong e-commerce channel partners, and we are committed to supporting them with enhanced automation to ensure data and product collateral synchronization through a third-party agency. This API-based system will ensure all product offerings, data sheets, pricing, etc., is automatically and continually updated and accurate. This capability will allow us quickly introduce and merchandise new product innovations across our own web platforms and those of our channel network with maximum efficiency and accuracy. We operate EDI for order processing and fulfillment and will continue to invest in systems that enhance our ability to interface digitally with our partners and customers. With our focus channel partners, we've embraced many digital tools to provide detailed and regular product technology training. we deliver regular co-hosted webinars with our partners through the Advantech Solutions Forum. Later, we will roll out the new Advantech Academy, which is an online platform designed to provide professional and certified training in IoT technology and products.
Thank you, Jerry. But how Advantech accelerate adoption of digital transformation within our customer business in a post-pandemic America? Can you share with us?
Linda, there is no doubt that the pandemic has accelerated the adoption and the requirement for digital transformation across our customer base and business sectors in America. Customers want to access their assets and machines remotely. They want to understand trends and use data to enable better outcomes and efficiencies in their processes. Starting at the device and connectivity level, our extensive portfolio of sensing nodes and I/O devices, allied to our ability to provide secure wireless remote connectivity through drop-in networks, enable easy and fast data acquisition from important customer assets. We have a long history of competence in managing automation devices and machines and interpreting the variety of protocols involved. This is the first critical step in digitization, and especially important in enabling connectivity to stranded assets and existing brownfield installations. Of course, our device management and deployment systems allow easy scalability and troubleshooting with minimal physical interaction and optimum cost. Our portfolio of managed network infrastructure devices ensure optimum and secure data transport. As customers want to gain deeper insights into their process behavior and machine performance, we provide a huge variety of edge compute and edge visualization options. With embedded GPU processors, we also provide powerful industrial computer systems capable of performing AI modeling and machine learning at the edge or on cloud platforms. We plan on promoting our sensing, remote wireless connectivity, and advanced AI-enabled compute platforms, particularly in the industrial equipment manufacturing, IEM, iFactory, Industry 4.0, and industrial infrastructure sectors, especially in transportation and energy-related applications. We also recognize the importance of technology and software provided by our ecosystem partners in responding to the digitization drive. We are working with over 20 eco-partners in North America that enhance our ability to provide powerful and easy deployable solutions. They have expertise in areas such as cybersecurity, device orchestration, data visualization, automation and control, AI and machine learning. These partnerships greatly accelerate our ability to respond to customer needs and enable market-ready solutions. I believe, together with our technology and focus channel partners, we have an amazing portfolio of products and solutions to help our customers adopt and accelerate their digital transformation.
Thank you, Jerry. I think USA and Europe, these two big regions, is quite mature. But when we talk about other countries around the world, like South Asia, India, Turkey, or Russia. So I would like to ask Vincent, the Intercom region in Advantech you are responsible for, that's including many small and medium-sized of a country. The COVID-19 and post-pandemic situation must be different from Europe and USA, or even in China. So what are the opportunities and challenges are the Intercom region facing right now?
There are lots of the small to medium level countries in the Intercom regions. Most of them are developing and emerging countries. The challenge what we face, sometimes there are also our features which are quite different with the US, European, and China. For example, digital divide between the city and the villages, and also less developed fixed infrastructures. And the average revenue per user is lower in the developing countries. So it demotivates investment from the mobile operators, and the different countries come with the different local needs and the local language digital service. And on the other hand, the challenge always comes with the opportunity. For example, because we have less fixed infrastructures, so that we can leapfrogging legacy technology and focus on the new, like the 5G. We have diverse the business model and the public to private partnership for infrastructure projects. And we have the local ecosystem to fulfill local needs. Also, multiple innovative funding and investment will facilitate market access mechanisms. For the COVID pandemic, we divide 3 different phases. First is initial outbreak. It creates lots of the demands for rapid response solutions and the cybersecurity from the huge upswinging in the remote working. Second is post-lockdown and the prevention periods. With the periods from the previous stage, we realize how important and critical for digital infrastructures. We need to strongly promote and invest in digital infrastructures. Third, we foresee it will accelerate the progress to the net zero world. Green energy network, safe and remote access management, and client-friendly infrastructures will be the trend in the futures. Right now, we are in the stage of the post-lockdown and the prevention period. We will focus on enabling and facilitate digital infrastructures.
So Vincent, what action would you take in intercom regions?
The critical enabling factors come from the public and the private sector to lead digital infrastructure lending. First is digital leadership. We see lots of the government, for example, like Singapore, Malaysia, Turkey, Russia, they publish the policies, incentive, and the funding for digital infrastructure developments. Second is digital innovation. Academic, industrial association work together to conduct the local ecosystem to accelerate the local digital solution lending. Third is digital security. Cybersecurity is crucial in the digital infrastructure development. Fourth, all the business behavior will transfer to digital skills, especially for artificial intelligence. It will accelerate digital skill happens. As a survey from the McCarson, it identified 4 degrees of the AI adoption among the countries. As you can see, top ranking is the China and the US. Most of their AI developments are above the average. But most of the countries in the intercom region are below the rank 3 and 4. They are within the threshold, or some of them are below the average. That means we have great opportunity in the AI application and the future growth. The last, there are 3 major players to push digital infrastructure lending. It's also aligned to Advantech AIoT 3-phase business model and the ecosystem. From the upper level, it's cloud infrastructure and the telecommunication service provider to field solution eco partners. Advantech, we are in the middle level. We play the role as the hardware and the software manufacturer and the providers. With the ecosystem by 3 major players, we will become the enabler to support digital infrastructure development and growth.
Thank you, Vincent, sharing with us the strategic action in intercom region. The COVID-19 made a change globally. Are there any difference for the impact on North Asia countries? Allan, can you share with us?
Well, the COVID-19 did make changes globally. And I believe some of the changes are common across countries. However, the impact on Japan and Korea customers are somehow different than Western countries because of its unique Oriental culture. Let's take work and life as an example. Working from home and keeping physical or social distance become a way of our work and life due to COVID-19. But in Oriental society, if you stay at home or work from home, people will assume that you lost the job or you don't have a good job. Traditionally, in Japan, employees go to office to work, even when they are sick. So sometimes they laugh at themselves that they are kind of a corporate slave. In addition, they always work very hard and go to dinner activities after work. If they go home earlier, their family will assume that they don't have friends. Same in Korea. They usually don't eat lunch or dinner alone, since people will assume that they don't have friends. Therefore, working from home and keeping physical or social distance are really not a small change for Japan and Korea customers. As to business model, we know that online business is essential now, and digital transformation speeds up due to COVID-19. But except some big corporates, most of the companies in Oriental countries are small and medium-sized enterprises. For those small and medium-sized enterprises in Japan and Korea, traditionally, they are more comfortable to live with real economic. But now, they have to get used to live with virtual economic, which is one of the big changes made by COVID-19. Lastly, for customer relationship, based on my sales experience, Western style is more task-oriented, and Oriental business style is more people-oriented. Customer relationship is really a critical factor in doing business with customers in Oriental countries, and it is not an exception in Japan and Korea. You know, there is a Chinese saying that face-to-face interaction helps nurture relationship. Therefore, without face-to-face interaction with customers in Japan and Korea, it is really a challenge to build up trust with customers due to countless transactions because of COVID-19. All of the above differences are my observation for the COVID-19 impact on North Asia countries.
So Elon, the COVID-19 speed of digital transformation in industrial IoT, including North Asia countries. What are the key transformations are ongoing from North Asia countries? Can you share with us?
Well, actually, 86% of Korean companies claim that they already have digital transformation plan, regardless of COVID-19. Therefore, digital transformation is the way for customers to change to win in the market. And indeed, COVID-19 plays the role to speed up the change. There are lots of digital transformation efforts by customers in Japan and Korea. And maybe most of the efforts are common across countries in the world. But I would like to focus on those transformation efforts by Japan and Korea customers in the area of marketing, manufacturing, and management. For digital marketing transformation, traditionally, companies in Korea and Japan, they tend to add more sales on the road, conduct seminar, or join exhibition to find new customers, instead of investing in online marketing to extend customer reach due to ROI concern. However, under the countless transactions due to COVID-19, more and more digital channels, such as search engines, social media, email, and websites, etc., are used to connect with current customers or to find new customers. Unlike most offline marketing efforts, digital marketing allows marketers to see accurate results in real time and measure the ROI easily. In addition, there are versatile online systems and tools in the market which help enterprises to explore B2C business opportunities instead of relying on B2B business only. It results in the e-commerce business growth in Korea and Japan. As to smart manufacturing transformation, although for health and safety reasons, large companies may request employees to work from home due to COVID-19. Unfortunately, there are many jobs that cannot be done without employee on-site, especially for some workers in the factory. Therefore, you can find more and more AGV or AMR work on the manufacturing floor in Japan and Korea. And at manufacturing side, Traditionally, the IT people seldom talk to OT people, but now the IT and OT people talk more often to each other for integration and alignment. In addition, there are more and more requests from customers in Korea and Japan for edge cloud service, especially for remote monitoring of the equipment status over multiple manufacturing sites. Lastly, for business management transformation, the digital transformation will require enterprise to integrate digital technologies, including analytical and mobile tools and applications, digital platforms, and social media, etc., into all areas of a business. It results in fundamental change to how business will operate. Let's take digital platform as an example. In Japan, traditionally, the approval authority in the business process is by approval stamp or signature. But now, electronic approval system is getting started. In fact, more and more digital platforms are rolled out in different business functions, including R&D, production, sales, HR, supply chain, etc., which drive change across business operation. In addition, remote management becomes a new challenge, since more and more employees work from home due to COVID-19. All of this change make change management across functions become a norm in most of the Korea and Japan companies. The COVID-19 brings change to the world, and it also brings change for us to change to win in the market. In the post-pandemic era, I believe it will be as Charles Darwin said that, it is not the strongest of animals that survive, nor the most intelligent ones. It is the ones that are most adaptive to change. These are some of the digital transformation efforts in the area of marketing, manufacturing, and management by Japan and Korea customers to try to change to a digital enterprise to win in the market.
Thank you, Elon, to share with us the view from North Asia country. Lastly, I want to thank you for all our panelists, Josh, Jerry, Vincent, and Elon. Year 2020 is a special year to everyone. It's also a challenging year for everyone. People might consider COVID-19 is a crisis, but it is a turning point to accelerate digital IoT applications. Let's co-create the future of IoT world.
Thank you, Linda, for leading this discussion today. It was great to hear the different perspectives regarding how various industrial IoT technologies and applications will be used to help Advantech realize digital transformation in multiple regions post-pandemic. This wraps up our presentation, but I would like to take a few minutes to answer some questions that have come in. Let's see. An audience member would like to know if industrial AI is booming trend of the IoT industry. Can you share what Advantech's plans and strategies for industrial AI are? Also, what are the competences of Advantech to develop the industrial AI markets? Linda, perhaps you can take this question.
AI is definitely a very important technology for industrial IoT solution, especially for digital transformation. To implement AI in industrial IoT is not just one person's job. It requires lots of partners co-work together. And what are the plan and strategy for Advantech, and what are the role for Advantech to play in the AIoT application? For Advantech, we plan and our strategy is to provide a comprehensive AI platform, and together work with the AI accelerator leader like NVIDIA, Intel, ARM, to provide the solution to customer. And also for Advantech, because of global footprint we have in more than 24 countries. So we are collaborating with regional domain-focused system integrator that how to implement the AI technology and combining the domain-focused specialist to make it as a complete solution. And of course, it also involves a lot of data science work together. In addition to what I'm talking about, the AI hardware platform to support a variety of AI accelerator, Advantech also have Advantech WISE-PaaS, AFS. AFS stands for AI Framework, We also provide the WISE-PaaS platform framework to facilitate our customer, especially for small and medium size of the company, they want to easily adopt the AI solution in the application.
Another question, someone else would like to know if any of the ecosystem partners are seeing success from their partnership with Advantech. Don, maybe you could answer that from inductive automation's perspective.
Yeah, sure I can. Inductive automation is definitely seeing success as a result of our partnership with Advantech. Really, what happens is partnering with an IoT leader, it's just helpful to us to solidify our Ignition software's reputation as a leading IoT platform ourselves across many industries. What we've experienced is really an acceleration of growth, and that's particularly occurred in the last few years. A lot of that growth has come from our Ignition onboard program. And that's where Advantech comes in, because Advantech, of course, is one of our first and really one of our strongest partners in this program, which we launched in early 2018. The value proposition behind Ignition onboard program is simply to combine the industry's leading software, which is Ignition, of course, with the best hardware. So naturally, we wanted to work with your team at Advantech. In the program, Advantech and other approved manufacturers install and configure Ignition Edge software directly onto their devices. We certify and test the devices just to ensure that they work seamlessly with Ignition. And this actually greatly reduces the expense, the difficulty, and the time required to implement digital transformation strategies for many of our customers. I'd just like to, in answering this question, maybe just give you one quick example of how our combined solutions are helping customers. There was a recent case study about a large-scale manufacturer of automotive components, and they needed to implement new IoT initiatives into their processes. They wanted to meet customer requests for greater visibility. To achieve this, the manufacturer needed to get status information from the production equipment at each of its manufacturing sites, even though some of the equipment was from the 1970s and lacked integrated data connectivity. By leveraging Ignition software and Advantech hardware, they created an IoT application for data visualization on the shop floor. They were able to have a full proof of concept to launch a pilot program on the assembly line in a few days instead of months. Then they rolled out the pilot program to assembly lines across their manufacturing sites. We are confident that there will be many more successes like this, and in the future we'll see this again and again as we continue working together to make IoT a reality for our customers. Just a final note I want to say in answering this question. It really has been a pleasure working with Advantech as an ecosystem partner. Travis and I had the opportunity to attend your partner conference last December in Taipei, and in addition to your team hosting a great partner conference, we had a great time in Taipei, and we thoroughly enjoyed ourselves. We were also very impressed with your approach to partnerships, your approach to ecosystems, as well as your development of solution-ready products. This is clearly what customers are asking for to help them with digital transformation. What I just shared is one example, but I think it's a perfect example of how much opportunity there is for the Advantech and Inductive Automation partnership to really benefit our mutual customers. So thanks, that's my answer to your question. Back to you.
An audience member asked, what is the plans and expectation for Advantech's WISE-PaaS software platform? How to create revenue and profit, basically. Either Allan or Linda, can you answer this question, please?
Thanks for this very good question. In fact, one financial analyst has asked Casey the same question in the IR meeting not too long ago. The plan for WISE-PaaS software platform's business model, it could be kind of like, say, the search engine of Google, that Google does not generate profit directly, and yet they collect revenue indirectly through advertisement. Or it could be similar to the WeChat system of Tencent. For WISE-PaaS software platform, the first major target is to proliferate the adoption of WISE-PaaS by as many customers as possible. And the major objective for us to generate revenue is, in fact, through the joint venture, the CCJV, co-creation joint venture with our solution integrator. And then through sponsoring and supporting our solution integrator to be successful, and through a reasonable equity share in these capital investments, we hope to gain major business result. And of course, in the meantime, we expect to maintain a reasonable fees that is in line with the required infrastructure expenses that we need to cover the WISE-PaaS expenses. So in summary, WISE-PaaS software platform is positioned to support all our solution partners to be successful with a reasonable fee. And then we will join force through co-creation joint venture with many of the solution partners and helping them not only with the platform, but also with the industrial sales channel, as well as the edge computing platform. By adding all this together, I think we have a fairly strong alignment of all the critical elements to be successful. I hope this answers your question.
Another question I think it's suitable for Linda to answer. And the question is, what is the next business outlook for Advantech in the industrial IoT world?
So for the outlook for the coming years from Advantech point of view, we believe that in the past, probably take 12 to 24 months to work on the IoT project. But due to the COVID, I think the development cycle will be shortened to 6 to 12 months. And second, in the past, a lot of business owners still hesitate whether should I invest a lot of resource and money to do this kind of IoT project. But again, due to the COVID, we all believe that more and more business owners, they are willing and they believe digital transformation in the IoT world will be crucial. And what are the roles for Advantech in this digital transformation? As I shared previously, everyone might know that Advantech is the edge computer leader, and we also provide a lot of the edge devices, I/O sensing and remote I/O module. But actually, from 4 years ago, Advantech invested a lot of software engineering on edge software and also on the WISE-PaaS platform as a services. And we also invest a lot of co-creation partnership around the world, especially with domain-focused system integrator. We all believe that to speed up digital transformation in IoT world, we will have the partnership to work together. So co-create the partnership to exercise the IoT project, and together with Advantech hardware and software solution, we believe this is a catalyst for the IoT application.
Looks like we are out of time. My thanks to everyone who submitted questions, and I'm sorry if we weren't able to answer all the questions today. We'll do our best to get back to you offline in the coming days. The macro strategy of gearing up industrial IoT with AI, 5G, and edge computing is a key to the breakthrough and reconstruction of IoT industries. While journeying to the future of IoT world, it is Advantech's vision to work with ecosystem partners to achieve sustainable success in the post-pandemic era. That is clear. Let's continue to collaborate and to build a leading position in the global industrial IoT market. Please join us for the Advantech Industrial IoT Virtual Summit live stream sessions that will air tomorrow too, Thursday and Friday, the 25th of September. We go deeper in industrial IoT trends and latest technologies that are changing the global industrial market and economy. So again, I'm Jess Bansidar, And on behalf of Advantech, I would like to thank you for joining today's grand keynote live stream. I hope you found this session interesting and insightful, and it will help you to shape your strategy for your own company and your businesses in the post-pandemic era. See you again tomorrow, and thank you.